Hello and welcome back to Into the 99 podcast. I have today 3 people that are very special to me. I have Ryan, Dan, and we have a guest, Jim, Pierexia. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, Dan? You're very quiet.
I'm pretty good. Just was waiting for everyone to say how they were. For anyone who doesn't know, I'll let Jim tell what he does in the community because it's awesome. So Jim, quickly introduce yourself and say hello.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim, otherwise known as Pierexia, Instagram. Do a little bit of magic proxying, kind of proxy artist. Kind of got into it about 2 years ago, avid Commander player, and very, very attracted to the idea of just doing different things with art. So try to share it a little bit, mess around with some designs and do some proxying. But yeah, the page has been awesome, and, been working alongside with Into the 99 now for a few months, which has been great. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Do some quirky, degenerate stuff with magic. That's the goal.
I also heard a fun fact that you can take 2 gorilla charges.
Up to 2. Yeah, we determined that a little bit earlier. If I haven't conveyed this yet to the general public on Instagram, that's the general movement of the page, that I can take 1, maybe 2 gorilla strikes.
3's too much.
Or bluff charge. Yeah, 3's too much. 1 bluff charge plus 2 strikes, too much. You guys should know that by now if you follow the page.
Oh, yeah, chatting early was a good time for sure. Zach notably is not here today. He would have really enjoyed that conversation. He would have been howling.
Don't forget, we also have to shout out to There's Magic in That Beard, our other Patreon. Thank you very much. We can't do all this without you.
Yeah, and for everyone else who wants to be upgraded, upgrade your pledges, and we'll say thank you to you as well. If you do want to support us, come to Patreon. Thank you so much for checking out all of our video shows, the new shows that we've been doing, Parallel Thoughts. We do the Lore show. We do Brewing It Live. They're all great. Brewing It Live is going on. If you are hearing this early, it'll be going on later today, but if not, you'll hear it later. But come brew decks with Lotus. And yeah, we will just actually now jump into our subject of the day, which is these Modern Horizon spoilers are nuts.
Set is wild.
There's no way around it. We're going to try get through the bulk of them. A bunch of my favorite cards from the set actually aren't even rares. They're an uncommon and common. I'll even just go over them right now. It's that new Tireless Tracker style card that does the tokens, Tireless Provider or whatever it is. I'm not looking it up right now. That's how much I like it. But I really want like a ton of those. It's landfall that makes treasure tokens or clue tokens. And it's awesome. Or is it clue or food?
There's food, clue, and treasure in this.
Yeah, okay, so it's not clue. Tireless Tracker is clue. Yeah, so it'll be food and treasure, but it's still an amazing card. And then the Birds of Paradise Ornithopter thing. I just think that's a really cool card. I think that's a great budget replacement for it. Lots of people are saying it's not as good as a Birds because it's not 1 mana, but you can pretty easily turn 1 Soul Ring Birds, Ornithopter Birds, and you can't turn 1 Soul Ring Birds, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one... go ahead, Lotus.
Yeah, the best card in the whole set, Phantasmal Dreadmaw.
Yeah, Lotus does like that one.
I mean, you had a 6/6 for 6. Now you have 4 mana 6/6. I'm
in love with the Herd Bailoff, the 3 colors, green, 4/4. When you put a +1/+1 counter on it, you make a 4/4.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
actually, I hadn't seen that one.
Each time, when 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, you make a 4/4 beast creature token, and if you play that with Cathar's Crusade, you have infinite 4/4 beast tokens.
Ooh, but you have to if you can't break it, you lose.
Yeah.
Because you
have to find a way of sacking it.
You have to be the one to break your own loop, because you can agree on a draw, but I can just say no, end your loop, and then you will lose. It's there's another card that does problems. That. It's something, I think it's a Shia and Spore Mound, something like that. It's anything that whenever forest comes into play, it makes a Saproline. A Shia makes all your Saprolines forests.
I literally just cut that into. I built in a Shia deck for tonight for my play group and just cut Spore Mound into it. So it's funny you say that.
Yeah,
super, super powerful.
It is. I love loops like that, but yeah, you definitely do have to have a way to shut it down, or have a friendly play group that'll just shake your hand and be like, "All right, let's move to the next one."
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you'll have to call Lotus and Judge.
I am not available today.
But yeah, let's get into it. Ryan actually said that he wanted to start us off with this We're just going to go alphabetically through the rarities and talk about our individual thoughts on them. If anyone has things to say, jump in, and I'll just let people know when to take them. Ryan, go.
All right. Archon of Cruelty. 6 colorless, black, creature Archon, 6/6 flyer. And when it enters the battlefield or attacks, that's an important one, target opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, loses 3 life, and then you draw a card and gain 3 life.
That's significantly better than I thought it was. I didn't know it was when it attacks.
Yeah, I thought it was just when it enters the battlefield as well. And I was watching a stream yesterday where they played it, and they pointed out both its ETB and attack, and I was like, this is significantly better than I thought it was.
Its attack makes it very playable.
It's expensive. Like 8 mana for a 6/6 is expensive, but there's plenty of ways to cheat it into play.
I can hear Zach in the background screaming about reanimating.
Reanimation, yeah. I was going to say, it has the essence of Croxer and Uro.
Yeah.
It has the same sort of feel.
I think it's like a mini cool ultimatum on a creature.
Well, Turgid would love something like this, too. Sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, discard a card. Like, that is a great one. We finally got Cabal Coffers as a reprint, and that is just obviously good for most people. It's been
the only reprint I'm excited for.
It's been just out of reach for a lot of people for a long time. Like, it does a lot, obviously, for any deck that can fetch lands. You usually are grabbing an Urborg and a Cabal Coffers just for your crazy mana generation. But its price has outpaced what it actually does for a while, I think.
They're currently at 75 for the new print in those books.
Those new... Yeah, real quick, never budget things based on what the pre-printing is. Always just wait for those prices to drop because they will plummet a week or two into it.
Yep. We've all learned that lesson.
It's taken me, 10 years to learn that lesson, and I'm still iffy about it.
I say that so confidently. I've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
and if it's still out of reach, talk to Jim.
Yeah. Jim could make you a cool Cabal Coffers.
We know a guy.
Lotus, I'll let you take this next one away because it's...
Oh, yeah. Chatterfang Squirrel General. Sorry, Toski, you have been demoted. It's a legendary Squirrel Warrior 3/3 with Forest Walk. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens, plus that many 1/1 Squirrel tokens, are created instead. And then for a black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets +X, -X till end of turn. I love this card
it's
so
a nuts
much.
card.
Nuts.
But I think not only is its playability going to be crazy good for like casual players, people like Lotus who just love squirrels, or like a cute looking commander, anyone who likes token decks, like there's a lot for it there, but it's a warrior, which means this slots into Najeela amazingly, because every time you would create tokens, you're doubling up your tokens, your 1/1s, and you have removal built into it, sacrificing squirrels. I think this has a really easy place in a Najeela style deck, and I think you're going to see it slot in a lot, because who wouldn't want token doubling?
Like, I don't want to go too far ahead in the spoilers, but if you're building a modern deck around this guy, and then you have the Cradle of Yavimaya making everything a forest, this is just unblockable.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I'm glad that they reprinted a lot of the squirrel stuff in this set, because I think with this card, if they wouldn't have, it would have put some of those cards into like some crazy high prices.
It did put some of those cards into crazy high prices. I think Deranged Hermit's like $60 or something.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Jim, do you want to read this next one here?
All right, so Dakon Shadow Slayer, white, blue, black for a legendary planeswalker. Dakon with 0 loyalty starting. Get +1, Surveil 2, -3, exile target creature, and -6, they put an artifact card from your hand or graveyard onto the battlefield. Yeah, that's pretty cool here. Looking at, for planeswalkers, which, I try to cut probably 2 or 3 planeswalkers into a deck if they really have a lot of utility. I like the lower cost, obviously. Being able to pay 3 and get some hate eventually, it could be a little bit slow. I mean, you get a +1, it's going to sit there a little bit, but, once you kind of get it going, I could see it being... Oh, that's right. So, enters the battlefield with a number of loyalty counters on him equal to the number of lands you control. I skipped that part. Oh, well, that just changes everything.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say, is you can really easy ult him turn 1.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Yeah, and being able to come out the gate and exile creatures obviously is never a bad thing. I mean, if he's coming out on average at what, you probably get him out with 5, 6, 7 loyalty counters. You get him out, you can exile twice. That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, any Rings of Bright Hearth or effects like that would be pretty crazy on that. The ability to put an artifact from your hand or graveyard in as well is really good. Cheating it, like, you could pretty easily cheat out a Blightsteel Colossus and a Darksteel Forge with Rings of Bright Hearth out. Like, you could be pretty degenerate with this card. I'm kind of sad that it can't be a commander, but I also am a big advocate of everyone just playing what they want as a commander and talking to your play groups, because I think that's important. So I would like to see someone build it as a commander. I'm probably going to do it myself.
Sweet.
No one's going to hate on my Esper mana ramp deck. Come on.
Yeah, until you turn 3, you play this thing with Rings of Brightheart and play, and then put a Blightsteel Colossus on turn 3.
Yeah. If you listen to the last 10 seconds of me talking, maybe you'll have a problem with how I'm going to play it. I don't know. You make a good point. The next card, I've also got to just say the artwork in this set is phenomenal. There's so many singles I want from the set on artwork alone. I really, really hope that they're doing the art cards again from it, because I would really, really like a lot of these full art cards. The next one is Endurance, and I'm looking at that full art, and it's just amazing.
It's beautiful.
This is the bane of Zach's existence. It's everything he hates as a person. It is 1 green, which is pretty good, and has reach, 3/4, and flash. All like awesome stats as is. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player puts all the cards from their graveyard out at the bottom of their library in a random order. And I have to laugh while reading it, because it's so funny, because it hoses some decks like this, especially in competitive. Anyone playing something like a Gitrog or a deck that is like a full mill to reanimate something, you're in for a bad time. And then they stapled Evoke onto it. I don't know why they would have staple Evoke, and it's just exile a green card from hand, like a Force of Will style Evoke. These are nuts cards for sure. I think that there's a lot of power in them. I don't know how you guys feel about this cycle, but I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts.
Well, as I'm a legacy player, and the mirror of Manless Dredge is a nightmare, this just makes it so much better, because we're already running a Force of Vigor, so an Endurance when your opponent is about to do a Thassa combo, and you just dump it all back in their library.
Oh,
perfect.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about most of these. The only thing that, and it's the bane of all Magic's existence, but a lot of these are very, very, very good in other constructed formats and are going to push the price up pretty high. But you guys know, like, I mean, I don't go to the 9s and 10s into the CEDH world, but I love my free spells. And you know, anytime that I can play something without paying its mana cost, it makes me a happy person.
Really quick to double check as well. Evoke is sacrifice it at the end step, right, Lotus?
No,
it's right away.
It's literally enters, dies.
Okay, but
it's basically a spell more than a creature, but it's an ETB.
What I'm thinking, though, I feel like will work. So, like, with the next one, the red one, for instance, the Fury, is the double strike. It enters, deals 4 damage as you choose among any number of target creatures or planeswalkers. Its evoke is exile a red card. Can I evoke it and then Obika end my turn?
Yes.
Yeah. The evoke trigger will hit the stack.
Yeah.
Same thing, you can blink it.
Then these will be really fun.
Blink spells to blink it.
Okay, so you can still respond to its evoke. It just does have to sacrifice. I wanted to double check that one.
Yep.
And just to let you know, there are art cards in this set.
Good, because I love them. I really, that's a project I want to do right now, is I want to frame all of these art cards that have been coming out, because I think they're a nice inclusion. I also think people should use those cards as the commander. If you have a full art Urza, just use it. Do it. No one will care. I'm actually going to let Jim read this next one, because I'm going to be asking him to make me these tokens.
That's fantastic. We're still on Garth here.
Yeah.
Garth One Eye. Yeah, this is a fun one too. I got a buddy who's really, really, really fascinated by this in my play group. So Wooburg, 5-color, white, blue, black, red, green, legendary creature, human wizard for a 5/5. Tap Garth. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name, and you may cast the copy. You still pay its costs. Pretty nuts. I think a lot of people are probably pretty happy to see this, to say the least.
This card outraged people.
If it stays in play long enough that you play all of them, is it then just nothing? It can't tap for anything once they've all been played?
Yes, but you can blink it.
Yeah, it's each instance of that card.
Okay.
Yeah. So, number one, everyone was just like, are they because the card is you make a copy of the card, so the token has to have the casting cost on it. So everyone looked at this and they're like, is this their reprint of Black Lotus and just including it as a token? Because it would have been, to be a token copy, it would have to say Black Lotus, say sacrifice for 3 mana, and have 0 up in the corner there for the casting cost. And everyone was losing their mind, and they clarified that immediately. They're like, just so everyone knows, that is not going on. We are not doing that. Make your own. Basically, they printed this card, and then they said, like, find someone who makes proxies, sort it out yourselves.
What makes me giggle is their reasoning was that they never print tokens of cards that are actual cards.
I loved watching them get dunked in the comments on that, and everyone's
and it was like okay, Desolator Twin,
yeah.
Replicating Ring, recently.
Yeah. They're like, what's that, a Johnny's Primate token? What are we talking about there?
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, cut that out. We don't talk about those ones. That was last month.
Like, if you don't want to upset the reserve list, just say you don't want to upset them. Don't give us this fluff.
I'm pretty excited to see. I mean, one of my buddies was really interested in brewing up this deck, and this is kind of something that we've gone back and forth on in our play group, and that I know a lot of people do about sort of power level of cards versus the expense of cards, and especially for me, proxying a lot of things. I always try to ask ahead of time in my group about proxying high value or high power cards, and it'll be interesting to see, when you actually get a chance to play some of these cards and see what they do. I mean, there's no question that it's powerful, but maybe it sort of answers the question for some folks about, maybe quelling some of the anger that folks might have in their own play groups about how powerful a card really is versus your ability as a Magic player to interact with things. I'm always really fascinated by that. Just because I run a proxy to Time Twister somewhere doesn't mean I know how to use it, sort of thing.
Well, and it doesn't make it any less silly.
That, okay.
but that is, if you make it like any less silly and stuff, like if you're running Time Twister in a group hug deck, right? That's obviously not going to be the same as if you're running it in like a Riel deck where you're trying to empty your hand constantly.
Or Cyrus.
Yeah. Like, so it really is like the power level. It's always just a good conversation to have. But introducing Black Lotus in the format, even if it has this weird, you have to have Wooburg, you have to tap to get it out. I personally think that this commander has an insane toolbox. I'm going to this is probably going to be my new Kenrith style. Obviously, you're going to want to throw in things like 1,000-Year Elixir, Concordant Crossroads. You want that stuff to come out immediately. That Black Lotus mana having no effect. Also, if you have Illusionist Bracers on, you double up because you have to, any modal you choose the same, the same mode. Am I correct with that, Lotus?
Yeah, you choose the trigger and then you copy what you've chosen.
Yeah, so if I have like an Illusionist Bracers on Garth and I make 2 Black Lotus, like that is, it having no restriction. You've seen how good Jeweled Lotus is hitting the field, right? Jeweled Lotus alone is good, but being able to make these Black Lotus tokens are awesome. But you have to get proxies for this. They've said straight out, they're like, we're not giving you these. So I don't know what they expect people to do, like use a piece of paper? No.
Well, use the blank ones that, I can't remember what set they came in, but the ones where you can literally make your own proxy.
I love those ones. Those are good ones.
Dry erase stuff or,
Yep.
for sure.
Though, I feel like you've all missed the best part of this card.
Go on.
And that's in the sketched version where it says, as flavor text, mood, a powerful, quirky, curious man.
Yep. I do think that's funny with the sketch versions where it does say some of them. Garth is actually one of the ones I'm the most excited for because I really, really like the variants. Like I say all the time, people don't build enough removal, but he has removal, creature, incursion, mana ramp. He has a win con built into him if you can generate infinite mana by just being able to Brain Geyser. I love this card.
I think the good thing to save Black Lotus is none of these are inherently broken cards. Like, Disenchant's good, but we've had Disenchant forever. I mean, Regrowth is good, Brain Geyser's good, Terror's good, but none of those are broken.
None of them are broken, but they are when they start in the command zone and are accessible for the whole game.
Agreed.
Yeah, like it's just like having that ability to, some enchantments like need to go, right? Like just being able to have like your artifact enchantment removal right there on the table. Get that Smothering Tithes off my table. I'm not paying the 2. I'll never pay the 2. I'll pay the 2 for disenchant. You know, like the ability.
I also think you
Go ahead.
You want Doubling Season and Parallel Lives in this deck, so you can have like
absolutely do
4 Black Lotuses.
I'm just gonna order like 50. That's the other thing. I like making tokens of everything. Everyone knows I like to try. What are you gonna do? Rakdos charm my Black Lotuses? Good luck. I could rant about Garth for a while, but definitely, like I said, I'm gonna have to pester Jim to make me these tokens. So I'm sure they'll be up there. Bug him.
As long as you're okay with a Gorilla Strike Shivan Dragon, then we're
I want a Gorilla Strike Shivan Dragon. That's what I hope for now.
Like, Jim, you can't just make the Gorilla Strike art for everything we do now. This is not cool, man.
It's a gorilla holding a Black Lotus.
I'll take it.
Could you make my disenchant a gorilla striking something?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta get a notepad.
Can you also have Brian in the background going, no?
Can you make it a gorilla hitting Brian?
You're talking gorilla, sky's the limit. You know that.
What I want Jim in the picture with a gorilla on its back.
Jim as the gorilla.
Nobody wants to see Jim as a gorilla. That's just not fair to the Magic community at large.
Dan in a Mountie hat riding it.
Oh. I have 18 tokens of this disenchant.
If I just sent you a proxy of me as a gorilla and somebody riding me without you having prefaced this first, I don't know that we would be doing work together. So I'm glad you got it before I sent that.
Can I have an ape token for Pongify with Jim's artwork on it?
Oh my goodness.
Regrowth is just Harambe coming back to life. I want it so bad.
Oh man. R.I.P. You know, we just passed the fifth what was it, the 5th
I think it was the 5th anniversary.
Man, R.I.P.
Someone put up a poster like, welcome to the 5th anniversary of that child should have died. I was like, wow.
Wow, it got dark.
I was like, this is a dark tweet.
Yeah. It got out there. Really lashed out.
I definitely am going to bug you for these Gorilla Strike ones. I did want to go on. We talked for anyone who listened to the Dakum Blackblade episode, we covered a lot of creatures. Characters, I should say creatures. But Gaedrone is a very influential one in that story. And if you haven't listened to that episode, you really should, because we covered a lot of these cool characters. And if you don't know who she is, kind of seems just like a random demon planeswalker that they put in with a cool effect. But she has such amazing effects. I will let Lotus read it. Gaedrone, go.
Okay, I've not actually read this one yet.
You'll love it.
So she's 1 blue, black, red, Grixis, love it. 4 loyalty protection from permanents with corruption counters on them. Okay. +1, each opponent loses 2 life, you gain 2 life, put a corruption counter on up to 1 other target creature or planeswalker. Seems good, protection. -3, gain control of target creature or planeswalker until end of turn. Ow. Untap it and put a corruption counter on it. It gains haste to end of turn. And -7, gain control of each permanent with a corruption. This is nuts.
Yeah. Gaedrone is the Nicobolus of this story time. Like, Nicobolus was around at the time because Piru as well was in the story, and Gaedrone summoned Piru and Chromium to try and fight Dakin. It's really good. You really should listen to that episode. It's great. But yeah, she's like a bad character in this. Like, don't get me wrong, Dakin's a pretty bad character too, but she's like the evil mastermind of like this whole part of the series. And she's everything that Grixis should be. Like, I love this card.
It's a cool card. I really want one.
If you're building that planeswalker, I'm going to build this planeswalker.
Do it. I would love that. Dakin, I'll play a Dakin versus Gaedrone game. That'd be awesome. I'm going to Blightsteel Colossus you. Die, Gaedrone, die.
I'm going to...
Then somebody can build Chromium and somebody can build Pyro.
The next one we have on this list is Grief. It's 2 double black. It's the black version of the Elemental cycle. It has Menace. When it enters, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. They discard it. Its evoke is Exile a black. It's pretty solid. I think that it has a lot of play potential in other formats. I think it's mildly okay in ours, but that's all right.
I mean, again, manless dredge.
True.
Great.
I'm going to take this next.
I was going to let Jim actually take this one because he made a really cool one of it for Zach.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, sure. So Grist, the Hunger Tide, which after working on this card, and that was kind of my introduction to it. Really want to run something like this because it's pretty nuts. So Golgari, 1 black-green for legendary Planeswalker Grist. Comes in with 3 loyalty counters. As long as Grist the Hunger Tide isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. You can -1 it. Create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token. Then mill a card. If an insect card was milled in this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat the process. -2 it. You may sacrifice creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. And -5, each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Yeah, I mean, outright, like, very, very cool card. And, you guys could obviously talk about this. I don't know if this is something that Zach was going to talk about, but pretty cool.
Oh, Zach was super interested. And Ryan, I think you wanted to say some stuff about it too.
Oh, I was just saying, as Zach's ancestral Golgari brother, this card it's nuts. Like, I don't think any of it's bad. I don't think there's anything in this that's bad, but I don't know if I'm going to build it, but it will definitely go into a number of my decks that have Golgari in it. Like, I don't think I would ever be upset having it. I do think it's a very strange card, the way it works, but I think it's a pretty amazing card.
Yeah, Scoot Swarm's an insect. I'm building it.
Like, I just want to -2 it all day long. I have a Jund sacrifice deck, so having the ability to sack a creature and destroy other people's stuff and recur my sack stuff. And
they made a really interesting judge call on it, which a lot of people didn't think they should make, and that is that it can be your commander, because technically you are not supposed to look at the characteristics of cards, only their super types when you're doing your deck building things, and they're like, nope, cut that rule out. We're not talking about that at all. This can be your commander because we said so. They're doing some interesting ones with that, but I'm happy with it. I like to see more things that can be your commander. I don't think it's inherently broken in any way, but I think it's really fun. I think Maskwood Nexus obviously slots into a deck like that, making everything an insect so that you can just really go off with it and self-mill hard. And yeah, Maskwood Nexus is great. That was a great card.
Yeah, I could definitely see this being a little fun to include in that 8-bit art Corval deck I made a while back was, I don't know that it's super broken for a deck like that, but, it's got some utility. I mean, just another creature sack outlet, and destroying other people's stuff is never a bad time. Drawing a card off of it through Corvold and then +1, I mean, it's pretty good.
Its ability to reanimate itself as a creature is really interesting. Mm-hmm. Imperial Recruiter got a reprint. It's a pretty decent reprint. I gotta be honest. I'm happy with it. I'm really happy that they did reprint it so people can play it. I'm not very happy because I own a bunch of Imperial Recruiters, and that really, really went ham on their price, let me tell you.
That's good, though, that it gets it into the hands of players.
Yeah, more people should play it, and
me.
I don't sell cards. If I sold my cards and stuff like that, then I probably would care more. It's cool, but it's a rare, I have such a bad take on, older cards being reprinted because I have them, and I'm like, I don't want this one again. But I do know that a lot of people do like it. It's got a very cool ETB. It's a great card. And what's the format you were saying that it was good, Lotus? It's modern into it?
It's good
Modern,
Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
love this.
It wasn't in Modern before, right?
Correct. Well, when was it reprinted? Commander Legends?
Yeah, but that wasn't Modern Lego.
Yeah, so it's not. No, then it was not Modern Lego, because it was in it was in P3K, and then they reprinted it in Modern Legend or Commander Legends.
Masters, 25, then double Masters.
Yeah.
So it was only legal in Legacy and Vintage and Commander.
Who wants to jump on the giant king of equipment?
I love this card.
Take it.
Cauldron Complete, 7 mana for a legendary artifact equipment living weapon. It's indestructible, and equipped creature gets +5/+5, has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile that creature, and its equip cost is 7. As somebody with a Boros-based equipment deck, this card, I mean, yes, it's very expensive, but this card is 100% going to go into that deck.
Stoneforge Mystic it onto the field. All
and
day.
I can't wait to have Brunner Battlehammer when that card comes out.
What an awesome card. Yeah.
Cauldron Complete.
My boy.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about that set too. I honestly think as well, I'm going to say it again. I'm just repeating myself like I'm playing Rhystic Study here, but you should play this as a commander if you want. Make a colorless deck with it. I think it'd be cool.
I'm kind of sad on the sketch art, though, because the sketch art pretty much looks exactly like the regular art.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't be upset with somebody playing a 7-mana artifact equipment deck because their commander has living weapon. I don't know. Sue me.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. You can't put the swords in the command zone, not yet, but I'll be all right with this one. This is my commander, Sword of Feast and Famine. No, we're not doing that.
The next card is my commander.
Yeah. The next one's Mirari's Wake. It's a very, very solid reprint. It's 3 white, green for creatures you control get 1/1 whenever you tap a land for mana. Produces 1 mana of any land it produced. So if you tap like a Guildgate for blue, it'll only make blue, but if you tap one of the bounce lands, like the Karoo lands that tap for a blue and a red, you can get 1 more of either. It's a great card. Its new artwork is awesome. To the next one, Lotus.
Murktide Arisen, 5 blue dragon for a 3/3. It has flying and delve. Murktide Regent enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each instant and sorcery card exiled with it. Whenever an instant or sorcery card leaves your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Murktide Regent. So I can already see this going in anything that's a spell slinging deck. What's that red-blue Drake that gets bigger for every instant or sorcery in your graveyard?
Something Crackle Drake.
Crackling Drake.
Yes.
I can see that and this going along side by side.
Just the ability to get a card exiled from your graveyard as well. With the Delve, an 8/8 for 2 potentially is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
It's that, especially in like Simic decks or token decks, like this can come out as a monster beater really early. And with mill being so prevalent and stuff right now, if you mill me for 10 and I just turn to this, ugh.
Yeah, you're going to be sad.
Gross. I'm going to let Jim take this next one.
This card's amazing.
That's great, actually. This is good, too. One of my buddies is a big Ragavan fan. I don't think he runs it anymore, but yeah, this is cool. Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer for 1 red, 2/1 legendary creature monkey pirate. Whenever Ragavan Nimble Pilferer deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library. Till end of turn, you may cast that card. It has the dash mechanic for 1 and a red. You can cast this spell for its dash cost. If you do, it gains haste, and it's returned from the battlefield to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Love it.
Can you dash out of the command zone?
It looks like it, to be honest.
I think
doesn't say from hand.
Yeah.
But it would incur the tax every time you do it, right?
Incur the tax, but
no, I just put it back in my hand.
No, but like if somebody kills it before the end step.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
add the 2 to it.
So then to dash it would be 4, then 6. To be honest, I can see this being really fun. I love to play Norrin, so this is just another kind of blinky, annoying chaos card to play Norrin with. I'm actually probably going to put it in. I have the new. Is it Dean? The Dean of Perfection and Dean of Performance, those two, whatever they are. But it's just really fun to play other people's cards, and this goes right into that.
Yeah, I like this card.
Yeah.
And I don't completely hate, if I'm running a Boros deck or if I'm running something that maybe just really needs a little bit more ramp. I mean, I don't completely hate the idea. I mean, not that I would be saying I'm running a Boros deck, but, if I'm running a mono-red deck, I don't really hate the idea of just getting some early ramp and treasure token shenanigans and things like that.
I think it's solid overall.
Mm.
Yeah.
This next one's another reprint, Sanctum Prelate. Enters the battlefield, choose a number. Non-creature spells with CMC mana value. I'll never say it. Non-creature spells with CMC equal to the chosen number can't be cast. It's not bad. Lotus, you like these?
What?
The next card?
Big, scary, weird cards like Scion of Draco. A 12 mana 4/4 flying dragon with Domain. This spell costs 2 colorless less to cast for each basic land type among lands you control. Each creature you control has Vigilance if it's white, Hexproof if it's blue, Lifelink if it's black, which is weird to me, First Strike if it's red, and Trample if it's green.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good in slivers.
I quite like this. Yeah.
Or in Scion of the Ur Dragon.
Yeah.
I'm confused about the Lifelink if it's black and not Death Touch if it's black.
I feel like they would just be like, this is a little
to
too broken. Because in black, it's just getting reanimated.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I got to take this next one. I need so many of these. I love angels as a tribe in general. I think white is strong, no matter how many times people dislike that opinion. But anyways, Sarah's Emissary is 4 triple white for an Angel 7/7. I wish that it had been legendary because I love more legendary Angels, but its effect sure is. It's a flying 7/7. As it enters, choose a card type. You and creatures you control have protection from the chosen card type. This card's crazy. This is, I'm going to overrun the table card. This is, I'll choose creatures, and here we go. I'm not dealing with instants and sorceries. You have artifacts like you're a walking ballista deck. Well, I'll play Sarah's Emissary. Try kill me. Man, this card's awesome.
Just going to say that. Yep.
Like
it's just going to say that. I mean, those Heliod decks out there that everybody likes. I mean, I run a Heliod deck, and at a certain point, running the walking ballista combos, people see it coming, and if you play with the same people enough, this helps with those instants and sorceries.
If this card was you and Sarah's Emissary have protection from I would be like, this is great. You can literally just give yourself protection from creatures and say, all right, try kill me. You obviously know Avacyn's going to be in the deck with this. Get rid of Avacyn, then Shylai, and then what a great card. I'm super excited about this one.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Choose a card type. Lands. I have protection from lands. Try kill me.
I'm sure it's going to go in like all of Zach's Abzan Reanimator decks.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is a great card. This is going in Brian's deck for sure. I know that.
Yeah,
you get this out. The Achroma one first off, but not even the Achroma one. Selvala. You can generate. Yeah. If you have three, you have one like duelish kind of land out, one white, another white mana, so you've got your mana to cast Selvala, and you go to the next turn, parlay and hit 4. You've like turned 2 or turned 3 this card.
That's gross.
White's weak. No, it's not. Man, I love Selvala with Angels. And speaking of Selvala with Angels, I also love this next card. The white one I think is the strongest of the whole cycle. I'll let Ryan take this one, but it's crazy.
It's Solitude. It's 3 colorless, white, creature, elemental incarnation, 3/2, flash, lifelink. When it ETBs, exile up to 1 target creature. That creature's controller gains life equal to its power and has evoke, exile a white card from your hand. I don't see any downside to this card whatsoever.
This one's good. This one's real good.
Yep.
I think the full art is a little strange because it looks like a blue card.
No, it looks like somebody's blowing a hole through a Blightsteel Colossus, which is what you should do.
I know what it is. I'm just saying, like, with all the art, it looks like a blue card.
I love it. Solitude's also the name of your playgroup if you build a Blink deck with this creature in it. You're not going to be very popular with people. Oh, yeah, it's going in my Rune deck for sure. My Rune deck called Ruin Your Friendships.
This will probably go in every deck that I own that contains white if I can get enough of them.
It's going to go in Emil. To be honest, it could be like a white staple card. It's not that expensive. Its lifelink is cool. It's a great reanimation target. Its evoke cost is wicked.
The problem is it's a mythic in a set with a low print run.
We'll get there.
Go ahead,
well,
Lotus.
it's got 2 prints of it, so you've got the original and the alt art, so there's more opportunities to get it. But I was just going to say, it just feels like it's not Force of Will, but Force of Plowshare.
Yeah, I like that. Force of Plow is what I'm going to call it.
Force of Plow.
Force of Plow. Yeah, this absolutely. I mean, mentioning the Heliod deck before too. I mean, it's hard to squeeze cards into a list that's pretty tight, and that evoke cost makes that very powerful.
Well, it's just such a great answer. Like everyone knows how good Force of Will is, right? And Force of Will, you also lose a life with it, and that's like a counter spell. But there's so many creatures that are great to get rid of, like especially in like a competitive play style. Like I play Zerta as a competitive deck, and I've got white cards I can throw away for this. Yeah, it's like I just really like that ability to. I like this more than I liked the free cycle of spells. I found the free cycle of spells as a little too good of includes, like Fierce Guardianship, Deflecting Swat, those kind of things. They feel a little too good in the deck because if you've got your commander out, they're so good. I personally think they're a little on the stronger side, right? But these, I'm not going to be upset to get hit with something like this. Like, it's going to be interesting, and it's going to definitely make people change how they are viewing threat assessment in games, right? It's no longer what do they have open? Well, now what do they have in their hand? Could they possibly Solitude me?
Yeah. Also, if you're going to Solitude, you got to think more carefully because you're 2 for 1-ing.
Yeah. Man, I love this card.
It's expensive, though.
It's just, I think, a really good card. The next one is Subtlety, and it's the blue version of it, Flash Flying, evoke for a blue card. When it enters, choose up to 1 target creature spell or planeswalker spell, and you put it on the top or bottom. They choose the top or the bottom, correct? Or no, you do.
Its owner puts it on the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
This card's not. I think it will slow some decks down, but I don't think it's.
This is an amazing card for like a commander stuff. You try to
Yeah, but I'd
fastest
rather just
Oracle
play
me,
it.
and I'll put it on the bottom of your library.
I'd rather just Essence Scatter and counter it for 2 mana.
Yeah, but this is free.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Oh, trust me. As a competitive side of things, I really am excited to get rid of people's planeswalkers, commanders, and stuff like that. Like, especially if you're going for a Heliod and like a Walking Ballista combo and stuff like that. You put you put Walking Ballista back on. One of my favorite things in competitive play, I run a ton of top deck manipulation for people and like things that mill their top deck card, and being able to get rid of their like combo piece card, like a Hermit Druid, like a Heliod into the grave, that hurts really, really bad.
Yeah, I'll agree with competitive. I think for non-competitive, I don't think it's that strong, but I think competitive, you're absolutely right.
And shaving a mana cost off and exiling a card from your hand, especially if you're running in mono colors, is so strong. I mean, you're just already running so many repeatable effects, especially in mono white. Like thinking back to Solitude, I mean, there are just so many stacks pieces that you're probably running in a mono white deck that you're thinking like, all right, I've got what I need pretty much. There's plenty of fodder for stuff like that. Shaving cost is amazing.
Oh yeah. Well, and even in like a more casual side of it, right? Getting rid of one of your early big enchantments, especially with like a replenish kind of play style, is like for me, like anything that I can drag back out of exile with, I think it's Open the Vaults. Is that the card? Not Open the Vaults.
Pull from Eternity.
Pull from Eternity, yeah. Like I put that in Osgear and stuff, right? So for me, this is nothing to throw away in Osgear. I love it. Love these cards. I think they're so good.
This next one is definitely going to go into my Merfolk deck. This is such a good card. Cyvlian, the Sea and Sky. 1 blue for a 3/4 Merfolk god. So, I can't pronounce her name very well. So, the Sea and Sky has Indestructible. As long as you control at least 2 other Merfolk. Whenever it attacks, draw a card. Other Merfolk you control have Ward 1.
Indestructible as long as you control. It always draws on attack.
Yeah.
Oof. And the Ward 1 is crazy, and it's a great card. Like
Ward has already proved itself to be great, especially with Avix and Nev.
Yep.
It's more inconvenient than people give it credit for.
Yeah, Tax and Stacks is crazy good. I really like its alternate art form as well. Oh, I got to talk about this
beautiful.
next one.
It would make a really nice, like an art print for your wall.
Oh, it is Seb McKinnon.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw it, I didn't even have to look. I was like, all right, that's a Seb McKinnon one next. The next card, I was annoying. There's no other way to say it. I was annoying to every person that I talked to about Magic stuff with this card because I was like, yes, I love the sword cycles. I love everything about them. They're always good. They're always exciting things to pull. I love that they slot into any deck color. I love their utility. Love everything about it. And then I saw the alternate art of this, and I told people, like, buying them isn't enough. I've got to fist fight everyone to prove I own them, just to really have these cards. Like this full art is just an amazing card. Like if this was like a promo card that you could only get in a certain way, I love it. Everything about this card blows me away. This is probably my favorite artwork of the year so far, and that is a bold thing with how many great artworks we have had all year. But it's so good. It's the Sword of Hearth and Home. Love the name. Love the effect. Love the sword. So good. Equipped creatures 2/2, pro green and white. Great cards for commander. Great cards just in general. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target creature you own, then search your library for basic land, put both onto the battlefield under your control, then shuffle. Not tapped. First, amazing. It's so good. Everything about it is so good. I'm blown away by this card. You guys feel free to give me your opinions. I think mine's pretty clear.
It's bonkers.
Yeah. I can't wait for them to finish the cycle.
I'm not as crazy about the art as you are on the alternate art, but the old bordered card, like all old bordered cards just make my heart smile.
The old borders don't do it for me like at all, but man. And they're always so much more expensive, but that full art, like there is no doubt in my mind that I will buy this full art. I don't even care if they're like, hey, it's a $200 card. I'll be like, well, here's $200. Let's go. I want a print of this. I want a play mat of this. Bed sheets of this. What are we talking about?
You'll actually see next episode, you'll have a shirt that's just that artwork. Like a Hawaiian style shirt.
Did you forge a copy of that sword? Maybe. Maybe I did. So what? I'll let Ryan go with this next one because he's excited to build it.
Oh, am I excited. Thrasta Tempest Roar. It's 10 colorless, green, for a legendary creature dinosaur, a 7/7. The spell costs 3 less to cast for each other spell you cast this turn. It has Trample, Haste, Trample over Planeswalkers, and then Thrasta Tempest Roar has Hexproof as long as it entered the battlefield this turn. This card has my juices flowing.
Yeah.
I've already... It's not fully fully done, but I've already have a deck built for this and started picking up the cards to try to aggressively cast this on turn 1.
Well, getting it out early is like you were saying, you drop like an Ornithopter, a Jeweled Lotus. That's 6 off it before you already crack your Jeweled Lotus for another 3 off it. So you're only 3 mana short with 2
Jeweled
cards.
Lotus and Mana Crypt, you can cast this on turn 1.
Is Jeweled Lotus Mana Crypt?
Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt,
yeah, it's
and
6/5,
a Forest.
Oh, yeah.
That's a turn 1.
Wow.
And then there's tons of free casting cost cards. There's Elder Spirit Guide, Gemstone Caverns.
Yep. And if you're running mono green, you're already leaning heavily into those anyway. Like you're keeping an opening hand that's going to have a lot of those things. So you're pretty well like guaranteeing yourself, or at least a pretty good chance you're going to get this out very, very early.
I bet you can pretty consistently cast it turn 2.
Getting slapped by a 7/7 Trample Haste turn 1 of the game as a commander is pretty rough. Like, this is a commander that I can see pretty easily getting out of control, especially if you have any of the ways to bring it back to your... If you can bring it back to your hand or bounce any of your creatures back to your hand. Like, if you can return an Ornithopter, like with a Cloudstone Curio, and you just, like, Ornithopter the Shield Sphere, Ornithopter Shield Sphere, back and forth until you can just keep bringing this thing out all the time. Not everyone has to play like a degenerate like me, but that's what I would do personally.
Now, I know Brian's going to hate me for editing purposes, but you know the alternate art of this card?
Yep.
It is exactly the same as the Rotting Regisaur dinosaur, because it's the same artist, and this is what the Rotting Regisaur would have looked like when it was alive.
Oh, I love that.
I don't even know what Rotting Regisaur is.
It's a huge card that you have to discard.
It's a 3-mana 6/6.
Isn't it a 7 something? I thought it was a 7/6.
I can't even remember the size of it, but yeah, with 3 Cs.
Yeah, it's got a lot of C's. The next one, I'm actually very excited for the reprint of this because it's a really, really interesting card that was only really available in Commander decks as far as I'm aware. It's Titania, Protector of Argoth. Legendary Elemental, 5/3 for 3 and green. When it enters the battlefield, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. Great. Whenever a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 elemental creature token. And it's a pretty cool card in general. Like, it's great if you're doing scape shifty kind of shenanigans. But this alternate art is immaculate.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
I want to foil one so bad.
Again, I will buy a playmat of this for sure.
Yeah, that's my favorite artwork in this set, personally.
I am going to build the deck on that artwork alone. Like, it's a cool effect. I've had it for a while. I have it in like a few decks that run kind of like this. But like, all right, this is, if you want me to buy another, what is it, Crucible of Worlds? Just say it. Just say it, and I'll go buy it. Let's go. Let's go. This artwork is just so good. Who did this one?
It just makes me feel so much Lorwyn vibes. I love it.
That's what I love about it. Exactly.
Lorwyn is my favorite set of. It's my favorite plane.
That's the right choice.
Back there.
That is the right choice.
Lorwyn basics, always the best.
Oh, I know. All of those, like I love all of the Lorwyn stuff. I really like my Una deck for that. It's got a lot of that flavoring in it. Man, those cards are cool.
I will say, as just one quick thing, I mean, the Lorwyn basic lands are the reason I got into proxying in the first place, because it was kind of like the first matching set of lands that I bought for a deck. I was obsessed with them, and I just thought, like, how can I have more of this kind of thing in a deck? And 100% launched me into doing this.
I like that.
Yeah.
The next one's also pretty nutty. It's Torok Dread Cantor. 1 in the black, which is pretty early out to get. Cleric, so it fits pretty easy into Cleric Tribal. It has a kicker of 2 black, protection from white. Whenever an opponent discards a card, put a 1/1 counter on it. When it enters the battlefield, if it's kicked, target opponent discards 2 cards at random. Pretty solid card to add in any discard deck.
Yeah, and sorry.
Oh, I was going to say it's probably going to find a home in Rankle.
we've seen a lot of Brawlin decks coming out too, in a pretty high power tier. The Sharknado decks that seem kind of silly, but they're pretty powerful discard effects. I'd love to have this on the field when they're trying to do their shenanigans.
I do love that the alternate art of this is as if somebody just drew me 100 pounds lighter wearing a bed sheet.
A bed sheet with the print of the sword.
Yeah, it's
bed sheet theme is strong.
Yeah, that is me with the bed sheet theme of the sword.
What I also like is that they've got the throwback on the alternate art. There's the wolves in the background where you see the wolves in the Hymn to Toruk.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't notice that.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The next card, too, is one of my favorite ones in the set. I've got a lot of them, but this one I think finds a home in a ton of decks. Academy Manufacturer. It's a creature for 3. If you'd create a clue, food, or treasure, instead create one of each. This really, really expands like tribal abilities of a lot of these new ones. With the card that we're going to be going over shortly here, the clue token one, this is just such a good slot in. But for, what's the chef's name? Gordon Ramsay, can't remember it.
Gorm the Master Chef.
Yeah.
He's going straight in my deck.
There's no way to build a deck like that without putting this card in it. Like this was built for that theme. Then all of a sudden you put this into something like Galazeth where it can tap for mana itself, and then every time you make any treasure token, because everyone who built Galazeth went treasure, let's be serious with it. It's what you do with the deck, right? Making a clue, food, and treasure is awesome.
Man, Corvold wants this so bad too. The build that I had for him was more of a food token and treasure token build, and just because it's a fun theme. But like cards like this, I mean, that speeds me up just that much more to start getting to my draw engine. It's great.
Well, yeah, exactly. Getting those sacrifices out and having the utility, right? Like the life gain utility, the draw utility, and the mana utility. Like Corvold would love a card like this.
I think even Chatterfang would love this because you'd make 3 squirrels off it.
You would make 3 squirrels off it. That's nuts. I keep saying that's nuts. That's what I'm going to have to name my Chatterfang deck. That's nuts.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I like
Can
it.
I take this next one?
Yeah, please. I love all of these.
So, Ave Progenitor Ooze, 2 colorless, green, legendary creature ooze, 2/2, Storm. Ave Progenitor Ooze isn't legendary if it's a token, and Ave enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each other ooze you control. So, I didn't put this together. Zach kind of put 2 and 2 together, but this is 100% going to go into Thrasta.
I would just make this the alternate commander of Thrasta.
And that's exactly what Zach said. This is the alt, because you're going to cast a ton of stuff really fast. Like, you could potentially cast this guy on turn 1 and make like 4 copies of him.
Well, Jeweled Lotus Mana Crypt is 3 of these out that all enter with 3/3, or they'd be 4/4s.
Yep.
They wouldn't all be 4/4s.
They wouldn't all be?
No, because Storm, each
so
copy
they'll-
goes on the stack, so you resolve one as a 2/2, one as for each other ooze. So yeah, you get a 2/2, a 3/3, a 4/4, a 5/5, and so on.
That's cool.
Still on turn 1, that's disgusting.
Yeah. I love stuff like this. And again, with that Cloudstone Curio bounce of the back and forth, I
could go
will make
infinite.
700 Progenitor Ooze.
On like turn 2.
Yeah.
Or 3.
I just pull out a second box. It's all proxies from Jim of like ooze tokens that just say 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11. One of them's a gorilla for some reason.
Getting a lot of
funny.
ideas here.
Yeah. We'll go through some of these rares quickly. We'll rip through them. I made the joke I have to do it and stuff. The only way to pronounce that next card is honestly like this. It's yeah, someone can feel free to try and pronounce this if they want. I'm
Like I
not
said,
gonna.
it's Audrey.
Audrey, yeah. Asmore.
Alphabet.
Food Lady.
Yeah, I mean, I can get halfway through, but then I just get lost at the end.
Benson's got it down.
Yeah.
Asmorano Mardakata said can't do it.
Asmerano Mardokai.
Ryan,
That's
go
as
ahead.
far as
Give it
I
a try.
can willingly go.
Asmoranamardikaidastarnanidikuldar?
I mean, that's better than
I'm
what
gonna
we
take
can
your
do.
word for it. Jim,
Alphabet.
you want to give this one a try?
It's a hard pass.
I'm gonna call it Pots and Pans Lady.
I say it so well in my head, but yeah, I get tripped up too. I feel like I can get like halfway through Asmora no Mordecai Stenacul Dar. Yep.
If you can say it in your head, you're 100 steps ahead of me.
So in a kitchen, the chef is just always known as chef. So this is chef.
My attention span could never. If someone's like, "Hey, pronounce that card." One of my favorite memes is just like, when this enters, name a card. You have protection from the chosen card, and it's just the Key and Peele guy sweating. Oh.
You just have your own version that you pull out and put on the table when you want to make like meddling mage this guy.
Yeah. I will let Lotus take this next one here.
The Bloodbraid Marauder. 1 and a red for a 3/1 human berserker. Bloodbraid Marauder can't block. Delirium. This spell has Cascade as long as there are 4 or more types among cards in your graveyard.
Decent.
It's not bad.
I like it.
Yeah.
They reprinted Braids, and I really wish that they would unban it as a commander, and I know I'm a horrible person for saying that.
This is nothing compared to Turgid. I've never seen anyone have fun playing against Turgid. That card, no matter where it hits the battlefield, is just... It's nonsense. This
card's cancer, too.
Not compared to that one. The Turgid's nuts.
This one just makes you sacrifice it. The Turgid deck makes you sacrifice and then use it against you.
But I can tell you, the day that they unban Braids...
I still have that drop from the Turgid deck because it's our cards.
The day that they unban Braids, I will have a deck made within 24 hours.
Just make it right now and play it. Talk to your play groups. Nothing is banned. Let's play Leovold.
Yeah, I'm all about unbanning. I'm fine with Braids. That's okay.
I want to see what the new foiling is on this card, because the old foiling on Braids was freaky as hell, because her teeth were just out
shiny.
Yeah. With that finger guns pose, there's no way. Like, I'm like, I have to sacrifice my lands, and they're like, but it's fun. I'm like, you got me there. I'm in.
I should have looked at this card, because I actually have those goggles, because I was doing a Chandra cosplay, and I was like,
there you go. The next one we have is Brea's Apprentice. 2 and a red for a human artificer. 2/3. When it enters, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, and has tap, sack an artifact, choose one. Exile the top card of your library until the end of your turn. You can play it. Target creature gets +2/+0. A very meh rare in my opinion. Jim, you want to take this next one?
All right, here we go. Calibrated Blast. 2 and a red for an instant. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. Put the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. When you reveal a non-land card this way, Calibrated Blast deals damage equal to that card's mana value to any target, with a flashback cost of 3 red.
I could see this being pretty large combo-wise, because already at 4 mana, I can see a way to Worldly Tutor and then put, like, Ulamog at the top of my deck.
Yeah.
Or Draco. Take 16.
Oh. Yeah. I could hurt real bad. What's the highest CMC creature?
I think it's Draco.
There's a 15.
In previous Great Worms, 16, right?
I think so. You also have World Spineworm.
I'm going to look this up. Someone read the next one while I Google.
All right. Karth the Lion. 2 colorless, black-green, 3/5, legendary creature, human warrior. When Karth the Lion enters the battlefield, or a planeswalker you control dies, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal a planeswalker card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, and then it has planeswalker's loyalty abilities you activate cost an additional, whatever that means to activate.
+1.
+1 to, okay, +1 to activate. My old eyes are straining. I mean, it's a really interesting card, but having a 100 or a 99 card deck, or 98, well, 99 with this guy, you're probably not running enough planeswalkers that you're going to hit on review,
right,
looking at the top 7 ever.
Yeah, I'm a little bit out on that, to be honest.
I mean, you have to play like Golgari Super Friends, which...
Yeah, but if you had like the Garruk that +0'd made 2 wolves, it would basically now be +1 make 2 wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that it's ETB or Planeswalker dying ability. I just don't see it hitting often enough to build around it, but it's still I think it'd be better in your deck.
The problem is that green has the doubling season effects, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're building this as a green Super Friends, I know especially from playing against Connor's Vorinclex, right? There's a lot of planeswalkers that can hit the battlefield and get ulted turn 1. So like you can pretty easily like play the 4-mana Garruk. I can't remember its name. It's you get an emblem where you go and fetch creatures. So it enters, you look at your top 7 cards, look for a Planeswalker, you ult it and it dies. You look at your top 7 cards and look for a Planeswalker. You can get a lot of these out pretty fast. Like it would be a good Super Frenzy one, especially putting it into Atraxa. Mm-hmm. It's got some really strong potential.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty cool. And Karth is a great part of the story from the lore episode. I will say it until you all go listen to it. We got a reprint of Chain or Nightmare Adept, which is actually a pretty cool card for Commander as well. 2 red-black, and it's discard a card. You can cast a creature from your graveyard, activate this only once each turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until the end of the turn. It's a very, very cool Commander to play against. I just think it's fun. I just think they're neat. Ryan, you read this next one. Actually, Lotus, you're doing this one soon. Is this the one you're doing today?
No, this was the one we did last week.
All right. Well, you read it anyways.
So this is a reprint, Chance Encounter, 2 red from Odyssey or Scourge? Odyssey. And it's an enchantment. Whenever you flip a coin, put a luck counter, or whenever you win a flip of a coin, put a luck counter on Chance Encounter. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Chance Encounter has 10 or more luck counters on it, you win the game. Bearing in mind there's that guy that says flip 5 when it attacks.
Yep. It's a really fun card, especially in Zndrsplt Nakum. Those are really, really fun cards to play.
Planar Chaos.
Oh, Planar Chaos ran a train on me the last time I saw it on a thing. That's the whenever you cast a spell, flip a coin, if you lose the flip, it's countered, and they flip their upkeep. It was around for 6 turns, and it got, I would say, 90% of the spells that were attempted to be cast. It was really, really like brutal.
Well, I had a Zndrsplt and Oaken deck with Planar Chaos, and I was about to cast Chance Encounter with Krark's Thumb to win the game, and countered my win con. Sometimes
you win some, you lose some. There's so many. I'm looking ahead at our list here, and I'm like, yeah, Lotus will read this one, and then I'm like, yeah, and Lotus will read this one. So I'm gonna get
squirrels.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Jim to read this next one, then I'll get Lotus.
Perfect. Yeah, Chef's Kiss. 1 red for an instant. Gain control of target spell that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy it, then reselect the targets at random for the spell and the copy. The new targets can't be you or a permanent you control.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a red counter as well.
Red counter chaos of like somebody tries to Swords to Plowshare me. Let's do 2 Swords of Plowshare to something else. And I love that you can't be the target part of it.
Yeah, I love the flavor of that. It's really, really well executed. That's great.
And I love chaos too. Lotus, you can take this next strange one, which by the way is crazy.
Chatter Splitter, or Chatter Spitter, I should say. 2 and a green for an artifact. This is amazing. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Each squirrel you control gets +1/+1 for each acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Green and tap, create a squirrel.
I love
That's
it.
nuts.
Do you have acorns in England?
Yeah.
You need to track down acorns.
Why did you say it's so confused, as if you're like, oh, you don't know our vast wildlife, Ryan? You don't know what trees we have here?
I don't know if they have the same plants we do over there.
Check your geography.
Do I have trees?
Yes, but just because you have trees doesn't mean you have acorns.
Not every plant in England is a tea tree leaf plant.
Are you sure?
You guys kind of make it. You kind of make it sound that way. Cursed Totem getting a reprint is pretty fun. It's pretty fun if you don't like Friends or Elf decks. Activated abilities of creatures can't be activated. Really just shut down a whole lot of decks. Just get them right out of the game unless they draw removal.
This next card has my favorite name. Damn. Black, destroy target creature. A creature destroyed this way can't be regenerated, and that has overload 2 colorless white. I just want to cast this and just say, damn.
Yeah. What's your response? Damn. It's a really, really good card. I was going to say I love Overload on everything, but I think everyone knows I don't love Overload on everything. I think everyone knows there's a card I really don't like it on. Ugh.
Vandal Blast?
Cyclonic Rift, get it out of my format. But this is a great card, and I honestly believe slots into every every deck that can fit it. It is your destroy spell on heroin.
Yep.
4 mana destroy everything, can't be regenerated. Like what? Ooh, that's bad.
I need about a dozen of these.
That's a really good card. I'm sad that they didn't. I wanted to see what their version, the flavor text part of it. I would have loved to see what the sketch direction was.
Yeah.
Make a card. Damn.
Yeah. Jim, do you want to take this next one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I've got Dermotaxi. Yeah, well, that makes sense. So it's an artifact vehicle 0/0 for 2 colorless with imprint. As Dermotaxi enters the battlefield, exile a creature card from a graveyard. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Until end of turn, Dermotaxi becomes a copy of the imprinted card, except it's a vehicle artifact in addition to its other types.
I see a lot of fun with this stupid card.
This is stupid.
This is the kind of nonsense that you know Zach is going to build.
Yep.
Like, for sure.
Yep.
Like, you know that he's going to Dermotaxi like a Grizzlebrand or something. Obviously, you can't Grizzlebrand, but everyone gets my point.
Something funny to say, though.
Yeah, I just think it's a hilarious card. Like, the artwork is so funny. The card itself is so funny in what it does, and really, really powerful.
Yeah, I can just see, even in Modern, someone doing a Blightsteel mill deck and just killing them.
Ugh. Oh, we missed Dothy Voidwalker, double black with Shadow for a 3/2, which is great stats. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a Void counter on it, which is nuts. And then tap, so it's like a Leyline of the Void on the battlefield, which is great. Then you can tap it, sack it, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a Void counter on it. You may play that card this turn without paying its mana cost. Actually, in my opinion, very strong in a competitive format, because just being able to play someone's Force of Will from grave, their Narset's Reversal, anything like that, I think that this is just a great card for that kind of an archetype.
Yeah, sorry, I skipped this one when I was reading, but it's kind of a shame because this was one that I was talking actively about when I first started seeing spoilers, because decks like Muldrotha, which is a deck that I've run for a while, love stuff like this. Just being able to recur this twice a turn, pretty powerful.
Anything, yeah, anything that you can reanimate as well and like get it out. Like, again, this is a card that, you know, like you said, anyone running Muldrotha, this is an obvious inclusion into Muldrotha. You cripple other graveyard decks with it, you get just nothing but benefit from it in yours.
Yeah.
Oh, it is good.
Yeah.
Man, Dermotaxi's a stupid looking card. I can't.
I love the border they did on Dermotaxi, though. I think, just from my perspective, like, seeing a break in the norm for some of these is really nice. I like the color on that. It looks cool.
Dermotaxi's too good. I really like this Diamond Lion, the Lionized Diamond reprint that still can, if I have haste, go infinite just like Lionized Diamond can. It's a pretty fun one. Discard your hand. It's a 2 mana artifact. Discard your hand. Sack it, add 3 mana of any one color. Activate only as an instant. And that was a very interesting thing to do, because you can actually interact with that instead of it being a mana ability where people can like stop it from happening. I
think this card foil is going to be beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't think there was ever going to be a card that was harder to proxy than Lion's Eye Diamond. It's always the card in every project. If you're building on theme, you're like, all right, well, Lion's Eye Diamond. So what's the concept for this artwork? Yeah. But you know what? They made it just that much harder. Now you have to actually have a lion that looks like a diamond. So
the next card is also really, really good. And it's Dress Down. Flash, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Creatures lose all abilities. At the beginning of your end step, sacrifice Dress Down. This, in response to a lot of things in competitive play, will hurt my feelings. In response, I will be sad. Like, this is a really, really good card. I play a Fibblethip deck where like it relies on him entering the battlefield and drawing cards. Najeela relies a lot on attacking and being able to untap, like with things like Derevi. If somebody is like, oh, I'm going to transmute, or not transmute, what's the card, Ryan? The transmorgify, whatever it is. You reveal cards so you get that many creatures. Divergent Transformation. We got that.
Yes.
Someone tries to Divergent Transformation into a leveler Thassa's Oracle, and you just respond with Dress Down and watch them lose their combo.
Someone Crater Hoops.
Oh.
Man,
does this work on Thassa's Oracle?
As long as you get it before Thassa's hits the battlefield, then Thassa's just hits the battlefield.
So when Thassa's on the stack, you play this then.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
that is
love
nuts.
the sketch art as well. It's so simple.
Well, it looks like an actual sketch.
Yeah.
Where
It
some of
looks
these
like a
don't.
lot of the old. If you've ever seen any of Salvador Dali's old sketches, that you can sort of like buy little prints of them, things like that. It looks very, very similar to what his old sketches looked like. That's very cool.
Yeah, this card I can see being an amazing like hose your opponents kind of card, right? Like anyone who's trying to go off, like I want to try and do like my Prosh loop or something. Well, Prosh no longer has any abilities, right? I want to do Khazra Nukima bounce. Like in a normal game, especially like I'm trying to do my stupid stuff with Rune and bounce my creatures in and out, and you just cut that nonsense out for the turn. It's a very, very good card in both competitive and casual play, and 2 mana flash enchantment, like the ability to bring enchantments back right now is very, very easy. I'm in love with this card, and I think it's really funny to like make competitive players upset.
This is true. They're not interacting with the stack.
Ugh. Yeah, no, this is like I said, this is a really, really hard card to deal with. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card, creatures. So there's really no downside to it. You're still drawing a card at 2 mana. It has instant speed. It's a great card. And at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice dress down.
That's a little bit, because Fibblethip deck, you're usually not running any other creatures besides Fibblethip if you're doing like a Proteus staff line or something. So
Exactly.
There's just no drawback to that.
Oh, this is for sure going in a deck like that just to get rid of those things. And even in casual play and stuff like that, like I know that you're playing an Azuri Renegade Leaner deck. You have 60 mana available and I want to board wipe, and I know I'm not getting through your regenerate. Sucks to suck.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's I just think that it's a phenomenal card. Enchantress's Presence also getting a reprint, which is great because enchantments are very fun to play. 2 and a green, whenever you cast an enchantment, draw a card, very simple. I love all the memes about the next card, about like, is this card draw in white?
I mean, Esper Sentinel is actually really good.
I think it's really, really good, but for anyone who hasn't
1 mana 1/1.
1 second before you do that, Lotus. For anyone who hasn't seen Invincible, the TV series, there's like a part where 2 of the superheroes are fighting, and he's like, look at what they have to do to mimic even a fraction of our power. And that's really what this card reminds me of. Like, it's so funny. Please go ahead with it now.
So, whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player pays X, where X is its power. So, you're most often going to get a card, but if not, you're going to tax them for 1. But in a human deck or a soldier deck, you can pump it up quite nicely.
I didn't see that it's a human soldier. That actually does get me way more excited for it. Love both tribes. Oh,
Yeah.
It's going to go in my Ham the Trickery Man deck.
The only thing that does make me sad is cast their first non-creature spell. If this was any other colour, like if this was a blue spell, would it be every spell that was cast, or every time a spell was cast?
Yeah, who knows? Ryan, read the flavor text of this one in the sketch art.
Action. Using the reference of as inspiration, we'd like you to design a soldier who is similar mix of flesh and ethereum, a magical metal found only on Esper.
Love it. Ooh, I have to talk about the next card. I'm going to lose my mind in fury every time I pull one of these cards. Printing this card at rare is a slap in the face.
That.
This card, disgusting. Trash card. Fire and Ice. By the way, in advance, I'm sorry if you like it, but you're wrong. It's instant on both sides, which you can no longer put under Isochron Scepter because of their new change to split cards, which means it has both CMCs. So realistically, it's a 4 CMC card here. But it's 2 and 2, and you can do 2 damage as you choose among 1 or 2 targets, or you can tap a permanent and draw a card. It's not...
God, this at rare is miserable.
Oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's first off, like, sure. Okay, I can get that they're like, hey, we've got to, like, spread it out. But they have the fetch lands at rare. So you can crack fetch lands like Arid Mesa, or you can crack Fire and Ice. And that is going to be a feel-bad
It was a
pull.
common in Uma.
Yeah.
When Fire and Ice is your foil rare for your box.
Man, I'll lose my mind. I'll burn that game store to the ground. I don't condone
Cut that
these
out,
actions.
Ryan. Cut that out.
Yeah, we're gonna edit that. I don't condone those actions, but I'm just saying, like, I pull 3 of them in a box. Like, if it's like the Skrylands, maybe I'll stop at a gas station. We've got Fractured Sanity next. Each opponent mills 14 cards at 3 mana. I don't know why they would print this or think it's a good idea, but it is going into Bruvac.
I love it.
And then when you cycle it, the ability to cycle it at 2, each opponent mills 4 cards. Also great, but like, yeah, it's going in Bruvac, obviously. Mill 28 for 3. Who would do this? I would do it.
I mean,
I'm sure
I have
Lotus is
Bruvac.
putting it in her actual Bruvac deck.
I didn't know you had Bruvac, Lotus. You're a bad person, too. I respect
Hey, there's
that.
no petitioners in this deck.
The flavor text on the sketch is action. We'd like an epic abstract illustration of a fantastical moon, not the real life moon, which has cracked open.
I'm not going to
I
say
like
that.
their descriptions.
I do like it as well. I'm not going to say, by the way, that that's what's going to happen on Innistrad with Emrakul, but I'm usually right. So, trust me.
Oh, you reckon this is a hint to our next sets?
Emrakul is coming back.
This next card makes me so happy.
Also, sorry, before we do that, I really like that flavor text. The body grows stronger under stress. The mind does not. I really like that. Yeah, okay, go ahead, Ren.
Gaia's Will has no casting cost. Sorcery. Suspend 4 for a green. Until end of turn, you may play lands and cast spells from your graveyard. If a card would be put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, exile that card instead.
Yes, Yawgmoth's Will in green.
As if green needed better stuff. Why, yes, we do. The weakest
Yeah,
card.
why
in the
not?
color.
You know, this is fine.
Yawgmoth's Will in green. What's the downside? People were also losing their mind about this. This and the white suspend card, because like both of them are like just basically reprinting reserve list cards. But they're like, but it has suspend. Don't even worry about it.
When your suspend is up, do you have to cast it, or can it remain in suspend until you want to cast
You have to.
it? Okay.
You have to, or it remains exiled.
Yeah.
No? So you really want to plan that one out.
Well, but the problem is that like in decks like Cody, where I'm trying to Cascade just lets you cast it. You don't have to suspend it.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh.
Well, I think Rada is definitely going to get one of these.
Yeah. Well, or anything that can like take counters off of things. I don't know. Suspend is a pretty fun mechanic, but I cheat all of these things out, and I'm gonna cheat out green Yawgmoth's Will for sure.
Not mad
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah. This next one's also interesting. General Ferris Rocker. I don't know. It sounds right. 1 in Boros, legendary human soldier, 3/1 hexproof from monocolored, which is pretty cool. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 4/4 red and white golem creature artifact token. I actually think this is really good in that Nicobolas deck. The 5-color Nicobolas? Not Nicobolas, Niv Mizzet. Very different. I don't know. I think it's okay.
What's the flavor text? The appearance. A skilled military commander. Ferocious is no. Yeah,
Ferocious?
Ferocious is a new character for you to design.
I do really like this next one, but I'll let someone else read it because it's funny.
Your brother's going to love this card.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead, you can take it, Tonya.
Glimpse of Tomorrow is a sorcery. Suspend 3 for red. Shuffle all permanents you own into your library. Then reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put all non-aura permanent cards revealed this way onto the battlefield. Then do the same for aura cards. Then put the rest onto the bottom of your library in any order.
I love it. Warp World 4/1 at suspend, and I love Warp World. It's a way to play Warp World on camera because I've tried to play Warp World on camera, and to date, no one has ever resolved it. Everyone's like, all right, so we're going to the next game. That and Thieves Auction, everyone's just like, and I am done playing for the night. Thank you.
Oh, I let them resolve.
Yeah, that's right. You're a good person.
I'm just that type of person, though.
Goblin Bombardment as well, a great card.
I'm glad that's in Modern. Goblin Bombardment in Modern is beautiful, but having it reprinted in Commander is great.
Rare. Was it always a rare? I thought it was a uncommon.
No, it was uncommon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't care. This card,
To be honest,
they
it's a
need
good
more
card.
for that.
I do like it. The next
and
one,
it's hard to find.
the next one,
It's like an $8 card, though, so...
is it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Mm.
Yeah.
They're
Love that
not
card.
many that exist.
The next one in non-commander formats is strong, but it's pretty decent in commander as well. But if you have 2 or 3 of these out, it's really good. It's Harmonic Prodigy. It's 1 in a red for a 1/3 human wizard, which is decent stats already. It's a good tribe human wizard. There's nothing wrong with that. Sorry. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets 1/1 until end of turn. If an ability of a shaman or another wizard you control triggers, it triggers an additional time. And I love extra trigger stuff, but if you have like 3 of these out, your prowess triggers trigger twice on each, and they just get huge. Ugh.
Yeah.
I think that people can get slapped down with this. I know nothing of other formats, so who knows? The focus is the musician wizard. I like it. It's like a big sitar thing. Yeah, I'll let you take this next one, Lotus, because it's so silly.
What, the ignoble hierarch?
Did you have something? One second. Sorry. Did you have something you wanted to say on that one, the harmonic prodigy, Jim?
No, I just like the artwork a lot. It kind of reminds me of like Kung Fu Hustle style,
Oh, the two blind musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're firing the musical notes off. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But yeah, the ignoble hierarch, a single green for a 0/1 with exalted. Tap, add black, red, or green. And its intention notes are: do a mirror image of the noble hierarch card, only this time with a goblin.
This card's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
I love the flavor text on the real one too. He protects the fetid bog from light, life, and the hideous sound of laughter. The fact that I can pull this or a fire and ice is an insult to me.
That's why you buy singles and not sealed product of this set.
That's me. I'm going into it. I'm like, I'm going to buy a bunch of singles. We all know I'm going to buy boxes. We all know it.
Yeah, you are.
I love, by the way, Bribery reprinted. Inevitable Betrayal.
Agreed.
Suspend 1, double blue. Suspend 3. Search target opponent's library for a creature card. Put it onto the battlefield under your control. Then that player shuffles. Love that card. Again, great for Cody.
It's
It's great for a lot of decks.
It is disgusting. I know.
The artwork's beautiful, though.
It is a really cool card. In foil, I think that'll be a really nice looking card. Bribery is a great card. And Bribery at Suspend. By the way, a lot of these Suspend cards basically are just going to put a target on your back. It's like, all right, well, Daniel's Briberying in 3 turns. Cool. Karmic Guide reprint is also pretty good. I'm there he is. There's my guy. So yeah, Karmic Guide, we all know, enters, blah, 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 bring things back. We get it. Zach likes it. The next one, though, Lotus, Cryptozoologist. It's a Snake Elf Scout. Great tribes on both accounts. It is a 1/2 for 1 green, 1 blue, and it is my favorite card of the set, bar none. I went and bought all the cards the day it was spoiled for it. I love this commander, and then they just kept making better things for it with the like food and clue and everything token supports for this. But I digress. Whenever another non-token creature ETBs under your control, investigate. We all know I love Enter the Battlefield. Then it has Sacrifice X clues. Target opponent reveals the top X cards of their library. You can put a non-land permanent with CMC, I'll never say mana value, CMC X or less from among them onto the battlefield under your control. That player puts the rest on the bottom in a random order. I love this card. I basically like a targeted 1 mana gen wave at other people's decks. I love the chaos of playing other people's decks. It's so fun. And I play with degenerate people. There's a great chance that I hit Omniscience in this.
Yep.
There's in a lot of play groups, like playing against Connor and stuff, there's a good chance that I go 12 deep and I hit Blightsteel.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this card. This is very good.
I love this card. And again, you Rings of Brighthearth, you Illusionist Bracers this card, and suddenly we're going 36 deep. We're going to look for it. And also, the ETB, the Investigate on the ETB where you make it, that's a great mana sink ability. And like we all know that green does nothing but make mana. So you have like a constant draw engine built into your commander. You have a play their permanence engine built in. Like I love everything about this. This is a card you have to kill almost immediately. Man, I love this card. I'm very excited to make it.
Yeah, no, that seems super strong. I was almost misinterpreting it. Oh, another non under your control. Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, you know? So like not only like
coming out all your. I mean, that's crazy.
I went through all of the initial things. Like I went out, I got my tireless tracker, I got all of those things the day that this was spoiled. I was like, yep, I'm making this. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to figure it all out. And then, yeah, like this is just a really, really cool card and a great spot to use Sphinx the Second Sun so that I can get my second untap because I didn't know it worked that way where you untap and then go to your end step. That sucks, but not when I can do this way. And putting that.
Yeah, it's unique for Simic too. It's not your typical Simic commander, which is nice. You know, this is a little bit different.
I love like chaos themes. Love it. Love playing other people's decks. It's really fun to, especially if you know, like even if I'm playing against Ryan's like Thrasta deck, for instance, it's fun to take someone's Jeweled Lotus away from them. It's fun to take people's expensive cards. You can't take their lands. I can't steal someone's expensive duels or.
It'd be sad if you take my my Jeweled Lotus.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, there's nothing worse than like, you know, a lot of people, the game's about to end. They're like, oh, let's see what I would have gotten. And you look at your top like 3 cards and you're like, oh, that would have been great. Well, I can do that now too with your cards. And I'm so excited about it. The ability to get like things like Avacyn, just annoying things like that. Steal a Smothering Ties. I want your Pitiless Plunderer. Any of those are great.
Cool.
Yeah, I really want to build this. This seems super, super fun.
Right, and I love it. It's like it's perfect colors for your token doubling effects. Like, obviously, you can't risk the redeemed in it, but like you've got your Parallel Lives, your doubling season and stuff like that. Like, I'm just going to take them out of the decks that I built them because, I don't know. I don't need that many Simic decks.
I have Atrix and Nev. I could literally just put Atrix and Nev into the main deck, put this in, and then just go get all the stuff that makes clues. Yeah. And it does the same thing.
They're just like, hey, do you want a spot to put another Panharmonicon? And I'm like, I do. Panharmonicon's a card I buy from the case every time it's there. Every time I see it, I'm like, give me it. I don't have to have something for Panharmonicon. I know I'm going to make.
That's how I am with Dockside Extortionist.
I'll take your Dockside Extortionist with this, and then we'll make tokens together. Just
probably the same way too, where like I really do love ETBs. I'm a big green player. I love quick, lower costed commanders. Like this kind of just hits on a lot of things that I like to do. This seems so fun.
Well, and 2 mana, it's elf. You can build elf tribal right into it right off the bat.
Yeah.
So like you know what I mean? Like you're a lot of the time going to be able to hit this turn 1 or turn 2, and like if you play any of like the expensive like Mox Diamond or something like that, you get this out and then the next turn go and drop like a Birds and a Llanowar, and you have 2 of those tokens, and I just even get a look at your top 2 cards. If this could take lands, this would be nuts. But
yeah, it's not going to be uncommon with those colors. You know, if you're running elves to be sitting on 5 or 6 mana turn 1, yeah.
Well, I'd love to see a card like this made that specifically gets land and not non-land stuff.
Having people take your lands is frustrating.
Hello.
Yeah, it makes people mad because that's the lands are generally your most expensive part in your decks. So I think they deliberately just don't do that because like I play this on Brian. I'm like, give me your Serra Sanctum. Let me get my fingers all over it.
I'm going to take your Underground Sea.
Yeah, I want that Bazaar of Baghdad.
Tabernacle. Yoink.
Yeah. Oh, getting someone's Tabernacle off this would be hilarious. The elf deck can pay for it. I love taking someone's Soul Ring alone is hilarious. Like it's really funny to have 2 or 3 Soul Rings out. And I love it. Target opponent reveals the top card. So you're getting card knowledge to everyone. So it's kind of a little bit political to see what's up top for most people. I don't see any downside. It generates its own tokens. If it didn't make its own clue tokens, I would still build this commander and I'd be like, this is a really cool one. But it having that built in, I think, is just such a monster advantage. I also love low CMC commanders like this. Like I love everything about it.
Dan, we need to do a 4-player game where we all play that. We all make that deck and we all play it.
Lannis Cryptozoologist?
Oh, yes.
And the whole point of the deck is us playing everyone else's deck? Yeah, I could rant about that card for the next like 30 minutes. I'm gonna do a deck on that shortly. That's one of the upcoming episodes. So, bam.
Yeah, super dope.
Oh, it's gonna be fun, and especially like maybe I'll see if I can get you to make me a bunch of clue tokens too, because I never really have tokens for my decks, but I feel like I'm gonna want them for something like this.
Like a giant gorilla looking at something with a magnifying glass.
It is a cryptozoologist. Don't get me started on gorilla themes.
That is true. That would be fun.
Or use the actual Clue board game and get a bunch of art from the Clue board game made as Clue tokens.
That's not too bad at all, actually.
Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
It'd have to be from the actual Clue movie from like the 90s or whenever that was made. Just super cringe.
Colonel Mustard ETBs.
Your editing game is up to snuff to cut scenes out of that movie.
Yeah. We've got Mages of the Bridge next. It's another cycle card. Triple black for a human wizard. Whenever a non-token creature is put in your graveyard from the battlefield, create a 2/2 black zombie, which is great. Whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, exile Mages of the Bridge. So it's,
Bridge from below.
Yeah, you want it as your own sacrifice kind of mechanic. Like I know Zach's going to break this card in some way, right? This is a Zach style card through and through. This isn't my play style card because I'm like, But Zach will scheme with it. The dead know their place is the flavor text. You know that your boy's making it. I'll let Ryan go on this next one here.
I'll skip Mars Flats because everybody knows what that is. Master of Death. It's a colorless blue-black for a creature zombie wizard 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 2. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if Master of Death is in your graveyard, you may pay 1 life. If you do, return it to your hand. It's nothing special. I wish you could pay a life and return it to the battlefield.
That'd be good.
But that's just me being greedy.
Oh, the next card is Cancer. It's just flat Cancer in everything. I was talking on the Ripped Wallet episode. I was talking about how I think that white is the strongest secondary color and how Azorius is annoying. Azorius is annoying, and this is everything that I love about annoying cards. You can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. Whenever you cast a spell, draw a card. I love it.
It's intent is this card prevents you from casting multiple spells per turn, but rewards you for your restraint.
Yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. And it's really fun to Fractured Identity.
Yeah.
Give everyone else it. Ryan, you can take this next one because you wanted to.
It's Necrogoyf. It's 3 colors, black, for a star 4. It's a creature Lorgoyf. Its power is equal to the number of creatures in all graveyards. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player discards a card, and it has Madness, a colorless black.
Ooh.
I love the Madness on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this card. I've got a Rankle deck that is all about making everybody discard cards, so this thing will probably get big in a hurry.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool card. I love Madness as well. I've been trying to upgrade that deck recently, the Angie one.
Yeah, it'd be good in there.
And it's a good Madness card, too. You know, it's not just another... I like seeing that. Not just like, it's Madness goes on, yay, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, it's got some utility, which is nice.
The next one is very strange, and I like it. It's Nettle Cyst. It's 3 with Living Weapon. Equipped creature gets 1/1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. That's a very good card.
Yep.
Seems like it'll go well in Brian's enchantment deck.
Well, enchantment or in any equipment. There's no reason to not run it in an equipment deck. It's low cost, and it's huge.
Yeah. There was a few people that were getting quite confused why it says and or. So just to clarify, if there is a artifact enchantment, it'll only count that card once. That's why it's and or.
Is this also kind of a cheat for Walking Ballista combos? I'm trying to walk it through in my head, but I don't know. Like the lifelink removing +1/+1 counters. I mean, typically you have to wait on Ballista until you've got 6 disposable mana, 5 disposable mana to come in with enough +1/+1s, but this could be like a little way to cheat something like that.
Yeah, where it has the +1, at least the power to live.
Yeah.
The next one's pretty cool as well, like in life gainy theme decks. It's 4 double white for whenever you gain life, you may put that many 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Do it only once each turn. But that with like a Beacon of Immortality is crazy. That is creatures that can't be dealt with. You know, like you'll if you double your life total and you're still at 40, you go up, you put 40 1/1 counters on each creature you control. How do you come back from that? What do? They're swinging out there going hard. You got to have a board wipe in hand to deal with something like that.
Yeah.
At least it's a high-ish mana cost, but
its sketch flavor text is strange. It says action, start with 190C and design a spirit known as Eidolon that resembles a human soldier carrying a large shield. Like, what is 190C?
That's gotta be... Are they literally putting a tongue in? Yeah, it's art direction. It's probably just like a card number in the set. They're just being tongue-in-cheek.
This is
That's
also
funny.
The next one's also a really interesting one. Obsidian Sharma, 3 double red, and it costs 1 for each land your opponents control that could produce colorless. I think that's pretty cool. And when it enters, destroy target non-basic land an opponent controls. I think that's a strong dragon. And there's a lot of lands that produce colorless.
Oh, that's good against Tron.
Yeah. It's also good against me in every deck I play. Because
like Tron, you could probably cast it on turn 2 and then nuke one of their Tron pieces.
Yeah.
It is a good one. I like it. Out of Time is another really interesting one that I don't think should have ever been printed. Whenever Out of Time enters the battlefield, untap all creatures, then phase them out until it leaves the battlefield. Put a time counter on Out of Time for each creature phased out this way.
This thing, I could cast it on you, Dan, and you will never get your 300 tokens back.
No one's ever getting these back. But it also has Vanishing, and I play a Kenrith deck where the whole point is to skip my turn. So it's just like you're never getting your creatures back.
Yeah.
I guess you can destroy the enchantment, but Kenrith protects himself pretty good. I don't know. I think that this is a rough one. Patriarch's Bidding, I actually didn't know was getting a reprint. I'm pretty excited to see that one. 3 double black. Each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creatures of a type chosen this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. Oh, it's all creatures. So if I choose Merfolk and you choose Elf, all of my elves and Merfolk will come back?
Each player returns all creature cards. It says each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way. So I think
only one?
But if I choose Elf and you choose Merfolk, you could bring back Merfolk.
Or am I right, Lotus? Does it bring back all cards?
So each player chooses a creature. So you choose Goblin, Elf, Warrior, Soldier.
Yep.
And then each player returns all cards of the types chosen this way.
Of a type chosen.
Yeah, a type is so all cards that are Goblin, all cards that are that. All creatures of a type.
You only get to choose. But usually you're playing this card in
I'll have to read the release notes again, but
But usually you're playing this because you're playing a tribal deck and you're specifically bringing back your tribe. You're not trying to bring back 4 different tribes.
I'm just curious that the artwork is werewolves and we're coming up to Innistrad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of werewolves in this deck, or in this set.
Yeah, that is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, you only return one type of creature.
Only one type of creature?
Yeah,
I was looking
type.
on one of the rule forums here. It says, instructs all players to return all creatures of a type chosen from their graveyards. Any creature with a type named by any player will be brought back.
Huh.
I'm going to have to look that up.
On it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of
Probably
those weird ones.
Probably wouldn't encounter it too much because,
Everyone wants their tribe back if they're running it.
for sure.
I'll let you take this next one here, Jim.
Persist. Everybody loves persist. 1 colorless and a black sorcery. Return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. Very familiar mechanic. Obviously, being a sorcery and 1 instance of persist. Maybe I'm wrong here because I'm not. But not having it actually attached to a card where you can recur it is kind of weak.
I think the flavor text on it too show a Kithkin, see page 28, entering from under the ground where he was buried.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a very cool card.
Old Thick Piru. So it's Piru the Volatile. And by the way, this was a trash cycle to finish. I understand that, like, story-wise they had to, but this is not a good card. I hate the old Elder Dragon cycle of, like, the non-stop echo. But that being said, Piru's pretty cool. It's a huge mana cost. 2 red, white, black. Flying lifelink Elder Dragon 7/7. At the beginning of your upkeep, sack it unless you pay 3. When it dies, it deals 7 damage to each non-legendary creature. So it is pretty good at board wiping. But, meh. As a general, meh. All of the new Elder Dragons that they made were better. Like new Nicobolus is better than old Nicobolus. By a lot. New Chromium better than old Chromium. New Arcades better than old Arcades. It just is what it is. Go ahead with this next one here, Lotus.
So this is the Priest of Fell Rites. A white and a black for a 2/2 human warlock. It has tap. Pay 3 life, sacrifice it, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery, and you can unearth it for 3 white/black. That's nuts.
I like it.
I need more than one of these.
It's a very cool one.
There's so many good cards in this set.
Yeah.
This card may honestly make me rebuild Carador from way back in the day.
Well, you'll make Zach happy with that. I really like the next one. I think it's got interesting implications. I'll let Jim take it because Jim likes competitive stuff too.
All right, Profane Tutor. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about this one. So it's a sorcery with Suspend 2, 1 colorless and a black. Search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, then shuffle. Which, it's never a bad thing to put a card directly into your hand, right? Yeah. Where you don't have to, see a universal effect from it or something like that. And a Suspend 2 is pretty low. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I see this as just being pretty darn powerful.
Yeah, again, the ability to cascade it out is cool, but I actually really like this tutor because it's a very easy thing to pop off on a turn 1, generally in like a competitive style deck. And that Suspend 2 actually lets you wait a little bit into the game to see what you need.
That's a great point.
Yeah, a little bit more than like the first turn tutor, because like you can get a lot of crazy stuff off like in first turn of like CEDH games. But just that ability to like kind of have it like wait on the stack. Someone's going to have to, they know it's coming. So a lot of the time they might even have to hold up removal for it specifically because they know that you're going to get a specific to the situation card now. I just think that it's got a lot of interesting potential that way.
Yeah, I agree. That's a very, very good way of looking at that. And I've seen that more in my play group too, with lots of effects that delay or sneak stuff onto the battlefield that shifts your perspective and your threat assessment. It's unique. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Also, lore-wise, it's very cool that Gadron's in the background.
Oh, yeah. And Dakin's got his forging his sword.
Yeah, his big old sun-stabbing sword.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that artwork. It's kind of old school looking. That's great.
If Brian was here, I'd get him to read the next one, but this one is really, really good. They just reprinted Replenish with Suspend 2 for way less mana. Crazy.
Yeah.
Suspend 2, 1 and a white. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Auras with nothing to enchant remain in the graveyard. Phenomenal card.
It's pretty bizarre.
Phenomenal. Like, it's a really, really good card. And very, very interesting artwork with Thassa, and it looks like Aroas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No god on Theros ever truly dies as long as there are those who still have faith in them. Oh yeah.
That's
That's
awesome.
Theros theme for sure. Yeah, no, I really, really like this. I play a lot of enchantment themed decks, and this is really, really good. Like, especially in like something like Gen, or even Zach's like Urtai style deck. He did a Reanimator, but a lot of people throw enchantments out with that kind of a deck, and getting them back for 2 mana is crazy. Oh, boo-hoo, you gotta wait 2 turns. Who cares?
Or, if your devotion is just surpassed on your commander and somebody tries to nuke it, you don't want to pay the commander tax, you can let it go and return it right away.
Oh yeah, Heliod's an enchantment. I always forget about that.
Yeah, so it can kind of save you a little bit on, maybe fumbling, not quite as far back, save yourself some mana cost and come back a little bit quicker. Maybe it's a little bit risky of a move, but it's possible.
Yeah. The next one, meh. It's a meh land. I'm not overly excited about the reprint. It's what was it, $3 before they reprinted it?
Yeah, it used to be expensive, but they've reprinted it pretty heavily.
Like, yeah, you can get your Snapcaster Mage back, and like I think in Modern that's more played. And I have to like try and remember that this card. It's so funny that I have to like try and actually like force myself to remember that they just didn't design it for Commander like it is supposed to be for another format. But I don't know.
Can I do the next one?
You can, as long as you say what it should finish games in.
Rise and Shine. It's a colorless and a blue for a sorcery. Target non-creature artifact you control becomes a 0/0 artifact creature. Put 4 +1/+1 counters on each artifact that becomes a creature this way, and then as overload 4 colorless blue. This is 100% going into Galazeth.
Oh yeah,
to kill people.
Treasure your friendships.
Jim, I also need you to make me a proxy of this card with the Toy Story stuff on it. Like all the creatures, the characters from Toy Story.
I like that.
Man, I'm feeling my palm sweat right now because my toddler will not watch anything but Toy Story right now. I have watched all 4 of them probably 30 times in a row, which I love. There's nothing wrong with Toy Story.
I didn't even think about that until I read the sketch art flavor text. Yeah. It says, "Mood, you can't keep us locked away anymore to battle," and it just makes me think of like when the kids go to sleep or go out of the room and all the toys come alive.
Amazing. I'm just going to do one with Forky in the trash can. That's all you're getting out of this one.
You're not going to... That one with the Meccano legs, the baby head that looks like a crab.
Yes.
I even think more of all the little green army men.
Yeah, this one's a good card. There's a lot of deck, like especially Urza. Urza's played like pretty consistently and competitive. Turning all your 0 mana rocks into 4/4s, it can really go hard. There's a lot of decks that can really do work with something like this, but it's going to be treasure token themed almost always.
Or rocks.
Or in my Lannis Cryptozoologist deck where I'm just like treasure token or
clues.
Yeah, clue tokens. Fight for me.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is the blue overload I like to see. This right here is fun magic.
This next card pissed me off.
Actually, it's not bad in the right circumstances. Like, because you want, it's Rishanen Dockhand. It's 1 Merfolk Island Walk 1/2. So it's great tribally. It is really awesome in a tribal deck, but you can be exceptionally annoying with it. If I'm trying to if I'm in a token deck, we all know we've been there. Daniel has 80 tokens on the field, right? I have a Gaia's Cradle out because I have no moderation. You tap it in my upkeep. Now I just
think this card needs vigilance.
I don't know.
I'd rather been double blue with vigilance.
Rishanen Port does a lot, right? So the dog can't it is a good card, and as well just being able to you can. I think as Commander players we're not as hateful as the other formats, right? And I like to think of things in that term, and you can just wreck people's day by tapping the color of mana that they need so that they can't play their Commander.
Yep, I play a full play set of Rishanen Port in my Goblin deck in Legacy, and it ruins people.
Yeah. The ability to
the 1v1 formats, that's what you want. And Commander, you just want to cast your stuff and wreck people.
Well, or if someone's the traditional, I'm holding up 2 blue. You know that I have a counter spell in hand. I've got my 2 untapped blue, the fear of the table, right? It goes to your end step, you pass to me, and I just tap your land before, and I'm like, all right, counter this, peasant. Yeah. It's got, like I said, Merfolk is a very popular tribe right now, so I think it's playable. 1/2 Island Walk for 1 isn't a bad card. Its ability is just stapled on bonus is the way that I'm looking at it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Lotus, you want to read this next one?
Sanctifier Unvec. double white for a human cleric 2/2. Protection from black and red. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards that are black or red from all graveyards. If a black or red permanent spell or card not on the battlefield would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead.
Very strong.
I really like it.
It's a very good card.
Very, very fun to wreck Zach's day.
It can't be bolted. It can't be targeted by damn.
Damn.
It's pretty good.
I like it. I like it a lot. I really like the next card. The next card is one that people are just going to go bananas for because everyone likes enchantment stuff so much right now. Sanctum Weaver, 1 and a green. Enchantment creature, Dryad, a 0/2. Tap at X mana, where X is the number of enchantments you control. Phenomenal card.
It's just, another one of those very, very quick 2-drop infinite mana outlets for mono green if you're running a Shea, if you're running Yisan. I mean, list kind of goes on. It's not going to take you long to build those enchantments.
What's the one I'm thinking of? It's the blue untap your creature enchantment.
There's several.
Intruder Alarm.
No, it's
Freed from the Real?
Yeah, Freed from the Real. Freed from the Real is infinite with this.
Pemin's Aura might do the same thing.
That's the one, yeah.
I can't remember.
Pemin's Aura is the one I was thinking, I believe. It's the pay 1 blue to untap it or whatever, so you tap it for 2 blue, untap you. It's a real easy infinite mana path. It's beautiful artwork, but it's also just good in enchantment themed decks. Like my Sisay Weatherlight deck is going to love this card. Lots of these are just there's a place for this in tons of cards. At its worst, it's a 1 mana of any color 2-drop, which isn't horrible.
And I love it as a drop too, specifically for Yisan. A lot of people will Phyrexian Revoker or target Priest of Titania. It gets hated off all the time, so having some flex and another 2-drop that just can be an infinite mana outlet is awesome.
I always forget how good something like a 2-drop that generates mana in Yisan is, because that's what he needs. There's lots of 1, there's lots of 3, but 2 is a hard number to choose.
And if Priest gets hated off, then you're just sort of like, well, all right, here we are.
I really, really like the next one, Search Premises as well. Search the Premises. 3 and a white, whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, investigate. I think that's a phenomenal card. Mono white, yeah. Mood, determined to find evidence of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could put this one in the Lotus deck, but it is what it is. The next one is just skyrocketed in price. Lotus, please.
Shardless Agent. It's a very, very good one. So 1 green blue for a 2/2 human rogue with Cascade. You don't need much more.
Great alternate art as well.
I love the card.
Fun flavor text too. The left blade for a swift, painless death. The right blade for a long, lingering one. The choice is mine.
That's cool.
It's awesome.
Solitary Confinement getting a reprint as well, which is a fun card. Beginning of your upkeep, sack it unless you discard a card. Skip your draw step. You have Shroud. Prevent all damage to be dealt to you. At 3 mana, a great card to just stall yourself out.
Yep.
Love it. Now, this next one is very weird. Jim, please.
I was going to say Slow Talisman, but I'll avoid it. Slow Talisman. It's an artifact. Suspend 3, 1 colorless, tap it, and add 2 colorless. Yeah, so.
I don't know how I feel about this card.
It's not horrible.
Like
it. To me, it would feel almost like a more fair Soul Ring. Hitting this on a turn 1's not going to feel too bad, because turn 4 you're going to be going into a lot of mana. It's slow acceleration, but it's still acceleration. I think that it's got a place in a lot of high cost decks or stacks decks that don't care about turns being gone, or any deck that's running Paradox Haze.
Yeah.
Love Paradox Haze. Also, the next card, Lotus is going to read, but it should be like Relentless Rats, I believe.
It's Squirrel Mob. 1 green for a 2/2 squirrel. Squirrel Mob gets +1/+1 for each other squirrel on the battlefield. Great reprint. Love it.
An army of squirrels is still an army.
Yeah, can take out Emrakul,
There's, sorry by the way that this episode's so long, but there's a lot of good cards, and I'm reading them all until we're done the rares, so too bad. Sterling Grove, reprint, also great. 1 and a white, other enchantments you control have Shroud, great effect. Pay 1, sack it, search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, then shuffle it, and put that card on top. For me, that's generally always going to be Nyx Bloom Ancient or Mana Reflection. Love those cards.
Yeah.
Oh, Ryan,
this card's amazing.
Yeah, you read the next card, Ryan. I was going to say this is the kind of I was going to say something I shouldn't say swear wise, but this is the stuff you like.
Suspend. It is 1 blue for an instant. Exile target creature and put 2 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. there's nothing like you can use it on your own stuff to set up even more degeneracy late game. You can use it to stop other people from doing things. Like this card is
getting your cast triggers as well, like the ability to use this on something like an Ulamog, right? You're still going to get the cast trigger again from Suspend, which is awesome just in general, but the ability to slow down like an important game piece is wicked.
Yeah, this card, give me all of them.
A great response to Laboratory Maniac.
Yeah, I mean, 2 turns is 2 turns, you know, whether you're in a high-powered game or a casual game, a lot happens in 2 turns.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Also, another great card, Sylvan Anthem. Double green creatures you control get 1/1, and whenever a green creature ETBs, scry 1. I don't think there's anything bad about that. I think that's pretty solid.
No. I love the artwork where every leaf is a different kind of green creature.
Mm-hmm. I really, really like that, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's unique. That's very cool.
I like the
Its
rabbit up
sketch
there at
art
the top, yeah.
says action. This is an abstract illusion that celebrates green creatures.
Illustration, but yes. Oh, the next one, by the way, a lot of people are super excited about this as a commander. Jim, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, actually, I'm really thankful for that because as a very, very big Elder Scrolls nerd, I love anything that sounds like Sithis. So, Sithis Harvest Hand. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Green, white, 1/2, legendary enchantment creature, nymph.
This card could make me build an enchantment deck.
I think it's phenomenal. I love that it has enchantment stapled right onto it. It puts that last card we were talking about, the taps for enchantment mana, like this is an auto-include in that, and built-in draw, not that nonsense once a turn draw of Tuvasa. Every time. I love it. What's this action, Lotus? You want to read this one?
We'd like you to design Sithis, a legendary green and white aligned female dryad who's closely tied to Kamametra, the god of harvest.
Love
See
Kamametra,
page
so
26. I'd like to know what the catalogue of was as well.
Yeah, what is this page? What are these pages?
It's probably it's probably set notes that they send people so that they have a full scope of what's in the set, and then they can reference things to get ideas for cards.
Yeah, I really like these action things. These are super, super cool. I like getting a little glimpse into that. I mean, that's always been kind of my understanding in those prompts for artists is that more often than not, they're pretty vague. You know, just giving a little bit of a hint, but it's kind of cool to see how they pick out very specific cards and have like a very, very specific desire for what they want to do with it. I like that.
I really like it.
Yeah.
The next one, I don't really know how I feel about it yet. Territorial Kavu, green and a red for a star. Power and toughness equal to the number of basic lands among lands you control, so a 5/5 for 2 potentially. Whenever it attacks, choose 1. Discard a card if you do draw a card. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So not horrible. A good way to get things into your graveyard if you need to. A good way to exile things from someone else's graveyard. And again, hate out Zach, but like I don't know. It's interesting. Next one I also don't know how I feel about. Lotus, you can take this one.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Thought Monitor, 6 and a blue, for a 2/2 with affinity for artifacts. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. I mean, okay, it's probably more better for modern, but if you're playing artifact lands, you can basically just get it out for a blue.
True.
And draw 2 cards off it.
I'm putting a copy in Galazeth just for more easy card draw.
Well, and it can still tap for mana in Galazeth, which is also solid.
Yeah. Mood, an efficient, well-designed machine.
Timeless Dragon, by the way. Yeah, that I actually do like. By the way, efficient, well-designed machine. Looking at the artwork, they did a good job. Now that you read that, I was going to say Timeless Dragon is. I'm pretty sure that's a reprint, is it not?
Mm-mm. There was a dragon that had basic Eternal Dragon.
Yeah.
Had land cycling, maybe plane cycling, but it didn't have Eternalize.
A pretty solid card, especially in, like we were mentioning earlier, Shabraz and Braylon kind of decks. The ability to discard it away and get that shenanigans, get it into your graveyard, bring it back. A pretty solid card overall. A 5/5 that you plan to cast for 4 and early fetch a land with is great. I wish the plane cycling put it onto the battlefield.
Yeah,
but
I think it'd be much, much better.
Mentioning that, you can channel the soul of Zachary to read the next card, Ryan.
Unmarked Grave, colorless, and a black for a sorcery. Search your library for a non-legendary card. Put that card in your graveyard, then shuffle. That card just screams, Zach!
Seems good. Looking at the Phantasmal Lineage Gravestorm combos, why would you not want to toss that in there, you know?
Yep.
This next card I'm sad is not legal in Commander.
Just play it anyways. Just pretend you don't know.
Blue sorcery. Return all permanents to their owner's hands. I love this
Don't
card.
let Lotus catch
I
you.
can't believe it's in Modern.
Yeah, it would be very
I'm happy
annoying in
that it
Modern.
is. I think it's too slow for Modern, though, to be honest.
I mean, Mono Blue Tron.
True.
Sure.
Ugh, yuck. The next one I'm very interested in and made me learn an interesting rule. It's Urza's Saga. It's an enchantment land, which is pretty cool. It enters and gains tap for a colorless. Then on its next saga, it gains... So it still has the tap for its colorless. On its next one, it gains pay 2, create a 0/0 colorless construct with this creature gets 1/1 for each artifact you control. And anyone who's played against Urza knows how huge that thing can be.
Yeah.
And then it's -3. Search your library for an artifact card with CMC 0 or 1 and put it onto the map. Sorry, not CMC. This is the rule I learned. With mana cost 0 or 1, put it onto the battlefield.
Not mana value, mana cost.
Yes. Mana value is... So that's why... the interesting thing I learned when I was arguing about this card is that mana cost and mana value, the reason they changed CMC to mana value is because a card's mana cost is what is printed on the actual card in the top corner. So something like, what's the suspend, Lotus? Or any card with suspend. It doesn't have a mana cost. Its CMC is 0, just like every land. So its mana value would be 0, but its mana cost, a cost has to be in the top corner. So any of those suspend cards do not have a cost in the top, and you cannot get one of like the... What is the Lotus Bloom? That's the one, sorry. Like you can't get a Lotus Bloom with this because Lotus Bloom doesn't have a casting cost. Or like I couldn't get a Mox Tantalite.
Yeah, it has to have a 0 printed in the top.
0 or a 1. Yeah, it's a unique rules distinction, and you're welcome for learning it. This is Judge Lessons with Daniel that I learned from
Rules Corner with Daniel, and he generally doesn't know the rule.
Yes, I had a long discussion with Dan on that one.
I'm going to get Jim to take this next one because I really want his thoughts on this because I love this one.
So I'm assuming we're going to skip Verdant Catacombs as a reprint. So Verdant Command, 1 colorless and a green for an instant. You choose 2. Target player creates 2 tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Counter target loyalty ability of a planeswalker. Exile target card from a graveyard. Target player gains 3 life. Yeah, I think countering the loyalty ability of a planeswalker. I mean, you're paying 2, you get to. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, it's 2 CMC. Especially in my current meta where Jessica is such a big problem and, things like that I just want to find as many ways as I possibly can to just slow things down by a turn or 2. The direct damage decks, I got my buddy Will, who's in my group, plays a lot of direct damage sort of decks like that and damage doublers, things like that. Jessica becomes a problem. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, in that sphere, I really like it. I'm not against it.
It's a strange card.
It is. At 2 mana, if it was 2 mana, target player creates 2 tapped green squirrels, I would think that that's a good card on its own. I would play that, and I would think that's playable and runnable. Something that makes 2 separate 1/1 creatures at 2 mana and instant speed, I don't see a downside to. Then they just staple on, because to me, it's choose the top one and then choose one of the others. And I'm the target player. No one else is the target player. But yeah, like it's the exile target card from a graveyard can be phenomenal if someone like Zach is trying to reanimate something. There's a lot of Zach hate in this set. And there's a lot of me targeting Zach, but I know how he plays. I know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange because of I don't know how many times you are going to choose the 2, because the big value to me is just in those middle abilities of either exiling or countering the loyalty ability. And I guess it's like, well, you'll always choose to create a squirrel token. You're not going to...
2 squirrel tokens at 2.
2 squirrel tokens. Yeah,
that's
you're not going to not do that.
I also really like the... Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I really like the ability to counter a Planeswalker's ultimatum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you remove your 11 counters from Karn or Ugin or whatever to ultimate, and I counter it and it goes away and nothing happens.
Well, and at 2 mana, I think, especially any deck that cares about tokens, this is a great spot. Chitterstorm, or whatever his name is, Chatterfang. I don't know. I can't remember. There's been a lot of cards in this set. I'm building it. I'll remember it when I build it. Like I said before, there's no more room for new cards in my head. But like the ability to exile target card from a graveyard, pretty solid overall. At its worst, in my opinion, it's gain 3 life and make 2 tokens at 2 mana, and I think that's phenomenally strong, especially on an Isochron Scepter.
Yeah.
Well, and like I keep going back to it, and I apologize, but like thinking of Ashea, it's like, well, okay, let me just put 2 tapped forests into play that I can untap with an Argothian Elder or whatever, whichever card untaps 2 lands, things like that. So there's a little bit of utility there, but that's pretty cool.
I love it.
And another counter spell in another non-blue card.
Yeah, Lotus does love those. Vindicate, by the way, its new artwork looks nuts.
Yeah.
Destroy target permanent. I love that full art one.
It's beautiful.
Ryan, you want to take this weird card?
Sure. Voidmere, 2 colorless. Artifact. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. It's an odd card.
Hoses suspend.
Hose is competitive.
Yeah, but I mean, but even the fact that you still can pay colored mana to cast your artifacts or whatever.
Not when there's 0.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But you just have to be very specific. Like, I'm going to use 2 blue or whatever to... It's a strange card.
Well, in a lot of decks, you're going to see something like a Mana Crypt into this, and I've hosed like your early game early game Mana Rocks. I've wrecked them.
Yeah.
Because you can no longer Soul Ring Signet if you have it in hand, because your Signet will get the counter spell, right? It's a big slowdown, and especially for Modern, which is where this is supposed to be for, this just ruins like that Tron theme.
I think they really want to put the brakes on Tron.
Yeah, I don't know. It's and this wrecks Omniscience, this wrecks Cascade.
Yeah.
Or the Suspend. So they put something in the deck that's available, because it's colorless, to all decks to counter any problems that may occur in the set.
If you want to be a horrible person, Knowledge Pool with this card, wreck the game.
Yeah.
Aw.
And also, I know in Modern that I can't think of the card. The Living Death that's free that you suspend.
Living End.
Cascade into it. Yeah, Living End. It wrecks Living End.
It's a good card.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we're near the end. There's actually some really cool cards.
As a rare.
I'm not super unhappy with it, but as a rare, it's Wonder. I wonder why they put it as a rare. Nah, it's pretty good as a rare, to be honest.
As far as I can tell, all the modern reprints have their own slot in a booster pack, in a set booster. So you'll pull one of the new rares and then one of the reprint rares, as far as I can work out. It's got its own slot.
Yeah. I know, it's okay, but I have to talk about the next one. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. Legendary land. Each land is a forest in addition to its other types. Number 1.
Love it.
I'm putting that in my Sisei deck so I can fetch legendary permanents, because that's a 0 and it's a great card. It's the flavor text is great because I love Multani. I call it Bonk Tawny. Multani's heart is a seed, and all of Yavimaya is its flower. There is as much life here as the rest of Dominaria together. I love it. It's a great flavor text from Karn. The artwork's beautiful. We get green Urborg. This is the card that I would consider cracking packs for. I don't need more fetch lands. I got plenty of them. But this card gets me going.
Yep.
It also made this card from a very cheap, crappy card to expensive.
Which card?
Hidden Path.
Oh, yeah.
All green creatures gain Forest Walk. This was like a $5 card. Now it's like $60.
Elvish Champion's another one like that. But then also, like we were saying, like cards like Ashaya, like things like Ashaya that care about like your forest-based things. Nissa, who shakes the world kind of cards. Like, this is a great, great land.
They have also... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, they've actually announced that they won't do red, blue, or white.
They sure better do red, because I want the price of my Valakuts to go up. Do it, you cowards.
They're not doing it.
Yeah. Oh, no, we won't do red. Yes, you will.
I don't even think blue would be... Like, I don't think any of them would be...
Every one of them is bad. Every one of them is horrible to do, and I love it. They should complete the cycle. Make red, you cowards. What are we talking about? Valakut Scape Shift. Let's go.
That's fair.
I want it so bad. Valakut Scape Shift, unban Primeval Titan, and we're in a good spot. I'll stop complaining about Cyclonic Rift.
Oh man, I want Primeval Titan.
No, you won't.
Back.
You'll still complain about
not if they give me
Rift.
not if they give me Primeval Titan and a land that I can go fetch with it to Valakut off. Oh, I would 12 to midnight if everyone knows what I'm talking about with that card. Man, I own a lot of Valakuts, really. Come on, Wizards, I need this. I need that increase, please. I have bills.
I love the 12 to midnight, too. I'm trying to kind of, normally I think 6 to midnight. We don't have to go down that path, but that's
all the way around. Whoop.
All the way.
Yeah, it's helicoptering me. Oh, people who watch the videos get a real treat from this. I'll let Lotus just did this one. I'll let Lotus do this one. Jim finish the last one, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, so this one was on my Brewing It Live. Yuzori Fortune's Flame. 1 blue, red for a 2/3 flying Efreet. Whenever it attacks, choose a number between 1 and 5. Flip that many coins. For each flip you win, draw a card. For each flip you lose, Yuzori deals 2 damage to you. If you won 5 flips this way, you may cast spells from your hand this turn without paying their mana cost.
Awesome.
You put it with something like Runed Halo, give yourself protection. Always choose 5.
People would not choose 5? I would always choose 5. I'll kill myself to have fun. Let's go.
Well, when we were brewing this, we were putting things on it like Shadow Spear to give it lifelink.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that. That's smart. I'm excited to listen to that episode now. Yeah. I don't have the intelligence to build it like that. I would just flip coins until I die. A really fun thing to do. If you play Game of Chaos against me or my brothers, none of us will stop. We will play until someone dies. You will have to stop if you have a chance to, or we'll play until you're dead.
It's so bad that they won't let you kill yourself.
Yeah, I know. I like to damage myself. I'll put a Eternity Vessel in here, and we'll be fine. That's a solution to every deck that I damage myself in. And then, yeah, Jim, I'll let you take the Boros one because you didn't like Boros earlier.
Hey, nothing. I'm glad that I do get to do this one because I'm mad about this one, and I'll do a better job of looking at the camera for this. For the people who are watching, I'm mad about this one. It's Zavaz, the Glimmer Wasp. For 1 colorless legendary artifact creature, insect 0/0, modular 1. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on instead. Pay a red, destroy target artifact you control. Pay a white, Zabaz the Glimmer Wasp gains flying till end of turn, and I am upset because as soon as I see modular cards, I get so excited. I love modular. And I love running my Heliod deck. I saw this and I was like, cool, let's just keep cheating mana costs. Let's run this ballista combo. And then the red happened.
And then you're like, oh, come on.
Go. There we have it.
My this is disgusting.
No, I think it's a very cool card. I mean, I love modular. I really do. I think there's just so many little like tricks that you can do with it that a lot of people don't run or they don't understand. It doesn't. I don't know. For me, like, I find more things with modular all the time that I think are neat in cheating mana cost. So yeah, it's cool, and it's a little one cost wasp. I like it.
It doesn't fly.
Yeah, it does when you pay your white.
Yeah,
I think it's neat.
You'd think it'd have it generically.
Yeah, true. The Glimmer Wasp.
For sure.
You got to feed it. I don't know. In general, I'm actually pretty happy with a lot of the rares from the set. This actually did get my excitement back up and kind of make me want to get a box. I was actually kind of upset. Like, they just keep printing more and more stuff I want, which is amazing. But then I'm like, how the hell can I afford everything in this set that I... Well, I was thinking of canceling my box orders because, like, I was like, I'm just going to buy singles. There's a lot of individual singles I want because I do really, really want the specific artwork of a lot of these cards. And usually I don't care, but this set I really, really do. All of the art in this set has just been phenomenal. There's nothing, they didn't Faithless Looting this one, I'll tell you that much. This is a real solid one. It's a home run. And I wish that I could go over all of like the uncommons and commons because there's just some there's great cards in this, right? Like, you are going to get a lot of deck building toolbox cards. And I like that they put a lot of budget things. Like I was talking about the Ornithopter of Paradise. That is great for people on a budget who can't just consistently afford to go be like $10 for a Birds of Paradise, $15 for a Birds of Paradise, $8 for a Birds of Paradise, depending on what printing someone has in stock, right? Like, it's a great color fix. It can go in any deck. Like, I like that, right? That's for me, that would be a budget building staple. Yeah. I don't budget build, so I could be wrong about that, but that's what I would use.
No, have to agree. I quite like that card. I don't even think I have one Birds of Paradise, so I'll be picking this up instead.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal card. A great addition as well as a color fixing card, right? And a lot of decks, like the more the more colors you're playing, the more colors you need, and an artifact that can fix your colors is awesome. And then like the Ignoble Hierarch, like I think that's like a great card as well. We know how good Noble Hierarch is, but like my biggest gripe is like if I get a Fire and Ice, I'm gonna have a stroke.
That's why I'm not opening boxes. I'll get 3, and that'll be my full.
You're gonna see me do box openings, and I'm just gonna be ripping it before I even show this. It's a split card now. Yeah, no.
I honestly hope, like, I'm very lucky to be able to get one box, and that's out of the world for me because I can't afford them.
That's fair. They're pricey.
But I really hope that I get some of these sketch cards, even like Abundant Harvest and Lucid Dreams. Their artwork is beautiful. Really is beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm really over the top excited about the sketch cards and things like that from this set. I really like getting those glimpses on the art direction side of it. It's very fascinating. I don't know. I like to see them delivering on things that I think it's not just answers to questions that the Magic community has about stuff they want to see, but I think they're attempting to give us some things that we like to see that are different without blowing it off the top. It's a pretty cool set.
And it makes it a little personable, right? You get that extra insight look. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we will. I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much, Jim, for joining us. We went way longer than I thought we were going to. Usually we'd split things up and do a Patreon. We're not doing one of those this week. I think we're at like over 2 hours right now, something like that. Yeah, 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll cut it down. There's going to be some silences. Maybe I'll remove some of my stupid comments. I make a lot of them every episode. I've never removed one of them yet, but my opinions are what they are. White isn't bad. But yeah, no, like it's we'll continue like seeing these cards and building these. I'm very excited. I'm really happy that you were able to join us. Is there any one card that you do want to build the most in Commander out of this set, Jim?
I really like the Cryptozoologist. I have to agree with you. I mean, I think you and I mean, just from talking on this, we probably have a pretty similar play style. I'm always green, elf ball, low CMC, quick commanders out of the box. I really like. I've wanted to build into Simic for some time, and have been kind of waiting for something different. So that is kind of an answer of a question for me. And on theme, it gives me some interesting avenues to go down for maybe some proxy stuff. It seems fun. So yeah.
Ryan, is it just Thasta?
It's 100% Thrasta. Like, it's probably the only... maybe that Cryptozoologist does seem fun, but if I only could build one commander out of this set, it's 100% Thrasta. Like, so much so that I've already pre-ordered the card. I've already picked up a lot of the expensive stuff for the deck.
And Lotus, do I even have to ask?
No, it's Chatterfang.
It's the squirrel.
You can combo with that so much. It's such a good card.
I know my play group. Everyone knows I want to build that Simic one. I love making tokens. I love ETB. Anywhere I can put a Panharmonic on is great. I'm very excited for that in general. Thank you guys so much for sitting and listening through to our giant rant. This was a super fun episode. Jim, I'd love if you would come back on. I think Zach was talking before about you doing your Corval deck. So
yeah, I'd love it. That'd be great. And I should have said too when I was talking about commander builds, and thank you very much for having me. For folks on the sidelines too. I mean, Into the 99 has been a big supporter of my Instagram page and helping me promote. And it's the very reason that I got into this in the first place was to meet great people in the community, and you guys knock it out of the park. So thank you for reaching out. Really appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Lotus, do you want to let everyone know where they can find our stuff?
Yes, so if you like what you hear and you want more, go to intoThe99.com for your one-stop shop of everything Commander. We have articles, videos, articles. What more do you want? You can catch Brewing It Live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. GMT, +1. And then you have Parallel Thoughts coming out. You also have our Law Show, which happens when, Dan?
Generally comes out on Wednesdays, so this one should be coming out Wednesday at midnight. Yeah, Mountain Standard Time.
Awesome. So yeah, we also have a Patreon, so if you don't want to just support us by liking and giving us good comments, more financially you can get our merch store, so you can get Into the 99 and wear it.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.